Muppet Arms. Welcome to Beyond the Realms, episode 14, you guys. We made it to 14. We're getting close to 15, which is kind of like, not very significant.
Kevin, you keep saying that every week. You keep saying we made it to 15, or made it for Tim,
right? Because I'm surprised that I haven't killed you all yet.
Yeah, there it is.
We also are surprised. Yes.
Going.
Kevin, we are just as surprised as you are.
Every episode is just a chef's kiss from the heavens that we get to continue this story. But hello, everybody. It's great to see you all again. Thank you all for joining us today on today's session. We are going to get into it tonight. Very, very excited. But a couple quick things off the bat, as we always do here on Beyond the Realms. Subscribers, hey, who's that? You? Yeah, it's you staring at me right now.
Wow,
you have a chance, if you are a subscriber, to win some pretty cool stuff, like a set of dice, a dice tray, or a dice vault. During our break screen, we like to do a little giveaway for our subscribers. And thank you all of you who have been submitting your names into the chats and everything. It's been really awesome. We just adore your support so much. So please consider being a subscriber. And if you are not, we still love you anyways. We just like to give those subscribers just a little bit of something for their support. So wait for the break screen for that prompt, and we'll get to that later in the game. But all that out of the way, we got some pretty cool things to also show you in tandem with that. Artwork of our freaking amazing characters. The lovely Ivy over here has yet again gone above and beyond and gotten some amazing artwork commission for the group. And this piece is once again from the very, very talented Farhan. Is that how you say it? Farhan?
Yeah.
On Fiverr. Really wicked artist. He has done Ramira, I think it's a he. I'm certain to assume that.
It is. A he.
There you go. Done Ramira, has done Tariq, and now has graced us with doing a rendition of Feral / Lilith. So without further ado, is it on there? Hey, it's there! Hey, it's there! Yeah, you like to fucking don't you, Joy Rose? Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's there. Look at it. Whoa! So cool. But seriously, I love this design. I love the scimitars. I think
we had to get that dual flame blade in there.
Yeah, so it's good. Just I love this so
if much. You zoom in, it's because it's really high resolution. It's extremely so.
Yeah, it really is.
She actually has crescent moons in her eyes now.
Oh, what? I didn't even notice that before.
Yeah. Go to the full size image and zoom in.
She's got crescent moons now.
That is amazing. So thanks, Ivy, for commissioning that. And thank you, Farhan, for your amazing talent and artwork on these. We love him so much. And if anyone out there is also a artist who likes doing D&D character stuff, please, if you want to do any fan art of the show, please tag us in it. Send us it our way. We'd be happy to share it on our socials and on the stream like this anytime. So just going to put that out there. But with all that out of the way, I don't think we have anything else to get to. So why don't we just do what we do, start every session, go to that diving board, just put our feet right to the edge and look down and just take a deep breath and maybe pee your pants a little bit. And let's dive right on in to tonight's episode of Beyond the Realms. So, last we left off, the party was basically standing toe. Are we back?
Are we good?
Yep.
All right. Holy shit. We're back, everybody. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. Everyone, put away your scripts. Let's just go back to ones.
Wait, you guys got a script?
I should have sent it to you last week, Ivy. This is ridiculous. Come on.
Memorize it.
All right. Let's just go back to ones and just
Okay.
All right.
If you didn't get the script, what?
Show him out. Go. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody! Welcome to Beyond the Realms, episode 14. Huzzah! This is the first time I'm doing this. So, subscribers, you know what to do. Come join us at Break Screen. You win cool stuff. If you're not a subscriber, that's cool too. But there was some cool artwork that we saw earlier. I think you saw it. There was no sound, but it looked pretty cool, didn't it? Never mind. Scrap everything I just said. Let's just dive right in to Beyond the Realms, episode 14.
We're professional, guys.
That my lovely speaking voice doesn't break the internet. So,
say recap.
last we left off, the party having just broken in to a performance at the North Look Inn and Tavern located in Brandshander and Icewind Dale. The performance being done by the Broken Sage Bard Troupe was suddenly screeched to a halt as Lilith Farrell had intervened, hearing that this Bard Troupe were speaking ill of her former persona, burst through, stopped the whole show. The Frostbreakers, her loyal companions, seeing this kind of exchange coming down, went down went downstairs in the theater room to kind of figure out what's going on. There was an exchange of words between Salil, the bard leader of the troupe, and Farrell/Lilith, and seemingly challenging Lilith to, if she wants to stop this show, why don't she put on a better one herself? And seemingly took on that challenge, got on stage, and it was just like poetry in motion, all over old dance moves, all over old talents, coming right back up to the standard that they all know of her to be, swinging around flaming swords and doing a bit of a tango dance. Mm-hmm. And that almost ended in a kiss between Salil and
a very awkward
Lilith.
kiss.
that fortunately did not happen as the party looked on. And then a sort of sudden intermission was taking place. Then the rest of the group was kind of put with the task of like, how do we end the show? Like, we've got to end it with a bang. And Farrell and Toon and Ramira, I believe, the three of them took on that challenge and decided to do a bit of a D&D version of Siegfried and Roy, where Toon had transformed into a saber-toothed tiger. Ramira, I believe, transformed into like a halfling rider of some kind, with Farrell with a giant fire whip, putting on these brilliant stages of feats, putting her mouth into giant maws, the saber-toothed tiger, doing all these crazy tricks, and with very, very high performance rolls. The crowd was just wowed, and the show was saved. You then went backstage, and Lilith and Salil had a bit of a reuniting of sorts, cut down to the drama of their past, awkwardly with the party still in the room, even though they had asked to, maybe you guys need some time alone. The two of them simultaneously like, no, stay here. And they kind of hashed out their beef with everybody watching. But
Ish.
There was a little bit of time where the party did leave and had a bit more of a private conversation. But seemingly, whatever was happened in the past was revealed with Lilith having left suddenly this bard troupe around 3 to 4 years ago. They had kind of squashed their beef, even though Salil and Lilith were kind of in a romantic relationship of sorts, and things had not really ended the traditional way of things end. There's a little bit of leftover drama to take care of. But you seemingly hashed it all out and kind of became a bit more friendly again with everyone in the group. And our boy Tarek, who seemingly had to kind of watch all this exchange happening, watch all these things kind of come to fruition, who is currently in a relationship with Farrell, had a lot of emotions to kind of figure out as the rest of you were kind of taken to the bar area in this theater room. Tarek kind of stepped outside to get a breath of fresh air. One by one, you all kind of seeing him outside, giving him little pieces of advice here and there on what to do. And then, Farrell's, don't worry, like, you got nothing to worry about. Farrell's here for you. Fiend kind of taking a different route and saying, what if she leaves? What if she does? Maybe she don't want to stay here. Giving Tarek a little bit of a punch of reality to kind of think about there for a minute. But as all that kind of happened, finally, Farrell Lilith came outside to kind of talk to Tarek and have a bit of a one-on-one, kind of reassuring him that everything is okay. Suddenly, the environment around you seemingly froze in time as a familiar, dark, demonic entity voice sprang out into the ether as a decrepit yellow hand reached out from the shadows, trying to lure Tarek in once again to take a sort of deal of sorts, that he could make it so that dude never existed, that you'll be the number one guy. But Tarek once again telling that demonic entity to F off, throwing his hammer into the void, shattering whatever experience he was currently going through, and boom, snapped right back into that moment before it had happened. And today's episode, everyone, is taking place a few hours after that moment. We are still in the bar in the theater portion of the North Look Inn and Tavern. Pretty much all of the room is cleared out. It's probably like 1 a.m. now. You've all had a few drinks at this point. Salil and Lilith Farrell were having a bit of a healthy competition with each other with darts. And we were trying to figure this out during our technical difficulty break. Who had won that dart game?
I rolled a natural 20.
And she rolled a nat 20, and I rolled a nat 19. So that was won by a hair.
It's close.
So during this kind of downtime, having drinks and getting to know the bard troupe a little bit better, you just see Salil and Lilith kind of having this competition with darts, with just like almost like with Robin Hood like accuracy, almost like the drinking is giving them better skills at this game, with just bullseyes, almost hitting bullseyes. It was a really close call, but Lilith Farrell did come out on top. So with all that down and out of the way, Frost Breakers, what would you like to do?
I guess I just have a quick question. Like, where would Toon be at in all of this?
I was about to say, I would like to establish where everyone currently is.
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't know where, because Ramir's probably still at the bar just hanging out.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is kind of up to you guys at this point.
Okay.
A couple hours have gone by. I know that some of you were kind of sitting and talking with yourselves, with different members of the bard troupe, kind of having shots and just kind of conversing with one another. Then you all kind of switched out places to go outside and talk to Tarek. So it's really up to you guys where you think you'd all be.
Yeah, everybody sort of took their chance to go and talk to Tarek, and I didn't. And I wanted to have a good dad talk with him.
Okay,
My child son.
My child son. My son.
My son.
I will say that Farrell is off talking to the troupe, probably at the bar then. I don't know where Tarek would be at this point, but I'll just say
I was going to say he's even before you said that, he would probably be at the bar, probably not specifically with you, but just is there.
Okay.
It's kind of like giving you your space to like talk with your friend.
Right,
like, no, that's fine.
She's probably over there talking to Thayer about some wild thing they used to do, or some prank they used to pull on Salil, if I'm honest.
Yeah, the bar out here is just against the wall. It's kind of this wide half U shape. That has a table, like a U-shaped table with a bunch of stools on the side. Just one dwarven bartender who's just kind of there.
Okay.
Hard to tell.
On one side of that.
Yeah. And like I said, it's late at night. Most of the room is pretty much empty except for just you guys at this moment. You can see kind of the rest of the dwarven crew that kind of run this tavern are just like cleaning up what's left of the theater and getting it prepped for the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess after kind of coming in, Tarek would have stayed with her for a little bit and kind of, again, chatted to members of the old party and stuff like that, and probably then excused himself just to give her some space and to give her own time. He's probably just sat on like the other side, probably with someone. If anyone else is there, he would probably sit with them. Not specifically sitting by himself.
What are you talking about? You're sitting there with Toon, your father.
It's probably like the three of us all sitting by the bar.
Tarek's probably just like in the middle, kind of just in his mood, with just Ramiro on one side and Toon on the other.
I just like
diagonal slope of height. Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, you kind of see the other two members as Salil and Lilith are still kind of like conversing and talking and catching up a little bit. The other two members of the Broken Sage group are starting to make their way out, with Thal kind of with Caitlin kind of arm around her, being like, "Well, guys, I think it's time for us to retire. Lilith, you haven't skipped a beat. We'll see you all later." And
I'll see you tomorrow.
and as kind of like gives a little send off, Waddle kind of walks by Toon and be like, "Just saying, offer's still there, my hairy friend."
And I do appreciate that. And I just sort of nod to them.
And they're kind of like kind of wobbling back and forth as it had a lot to drink, and they're like, I've never had coitus on a roof before. That could be different. Hey, Caitlin, have you ever done a roof? And they just like say that as they walk off.
You have a high tolerance for people, Toon.
Ha! Their hearts are in the right place. They mean no ill through their intent.
I suppose that's true. Doesn't make them any less annoying, though.
Fair enough. Speaking of hearts, can't help but notice, well, you're quite troubled due to these past events.
Wouldn't you be?
Were I in your predicament, I do not think that I would be. You have to understand the relationship that you share with Feral. Something ephemeral. You never saw the end for either of you, nor where you were going. This information should not bother you. There has always been chaos betwixt you two. Nothing has changed.
I certainly hope not.
I think you should take comfort in that fact. Don't think too hard on this, for you would not have before. And if you let fear poison your mind, that will spill into your relationship.
Takes a second to think on that, thinking about the offer that was made several hours before, unknown to anyone else but Feral. Although she doesn't specifically know what was offered, so
No.
Yeah,
It was
he just
just
thinks
that.
back.
You never even like it was literally, and as far as like normal time is concerned,
he's messing with me again. That's all I
was in a
said.
snap.
That was
Yeah.
it.
And she just took off the mind shielding ring and gave it to him. That was
Yeah.
the entire exchange.
Yeah,
She
he's
trusted that
he's probably
word.
looking that over now. He's probably just looking at the ring on his finger and being like, makes a difference. Thank you, Toon. It's good to have you with us.
I am most glad to be here, my friend. And I raise my glass and I'll have a drink with him and be there if he needs any more counseling, but I'm not going to force my stuff on him.
No, he definitely appreciates that for sure.
Ramira's sitting right next to you, but she's trying to pretend like she didn't hear all of that, like giving you your space. So she's kind of just like, like what is it called, swishing her like bar stool of like shwim, shwim, shwim. So she like kind of gives you the space, and then once you finish, she's like, ah yes, now I'm here again. Just kind of like, it's just one of these.
What's on your mind, Ramira? You look like you're doing that weird thing with your eyes where you're not really thinking. That's the one. Yeah. That's not it. I'm not insulting. I'm sorry. It wasn't meant like that. That's not an insult. People get I'm not good with words.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tarek without Feral.
Considering how difficult of a night it's been for you, I'm going to let that one slide.
That was not meant as an insult. You know what I meant.
Anyways, I think, I hate to eavesdrop, but I think Toon's right. You know, you liked her anyways, and you liked her just the way she was. Nothing's changed about her.
That's true.
Easier said than done. But, you know, it's always nice to have a partner who you like and could watch your back for you.
I think
Have you ever had anyone like that?
Oh.
What was the question?
Have you ever had anyone like that?
The rest of you just hear a loud come from Toon.
She folds her hands.
Sorry. Personal question.
Well, we're friends. I don't know that I've ever had anybody like that. I had someone before, but he proved very quickly that he would never get used to me.
Oh. I'm sorry. That's
how people are. And she kind of just like sits upright in her chair and unfolds her hands. Anyways, that was a little while ago, but I don't know. I don't think so. Not since then.
Not all people are that way.
I can tell. I mean, out of all the people I've met, you have been some of the strangest and also some of the most accepting. Who would have thought that of a bunch of murders?
Ex-murderer, thank you.
She kind of like eyes Farrell, who's like walking her troop out. I don't know if all of you are ex-murderers. As the door kind of like shuts behind. But just because, I don't know, I don't think that always makes you a bad person.
We all have our secrets and our skeletons.
I mean, I would hope every one of us has a skeleton.
That's a phrase. You know what, never mind. Doesn't matter.
I should probably, catch Fiend.
Where is Fiend?
I don't know.
Where is Fiend?
Where's Fiend?
He's outside at the front, enjoying the nice cold air.
I was about to say, you leave that goblin alone.
I said, give me a 7th row.
I was, I think at that note, she's gonna go catch Fiend to finish up some business for the night.
Okay. So you go and leave the rest of the troop as everyone's kind of winding up. And you kind of see the dwarven workers are kind of just cleaning up the last bits of the chairs and everything, and the bartender's kind of like cleaning his glasses and's got kind of his old setup.
Is he spitting in them and wiping
ready
them
to
out?
go. Sometimes try to do that kind of away from you a little bit.
Oh my god.
Gross.
But he's kind of setting up things like putting bar rags on top of different glasses and signaling that like he's pretty much ready to finish up here, but can't say anything, but kind of like, that kind of doesn't want to say anything kind of demeanor. But and the other dwarves in the theater room, they're cleaning up the trash and everything, kind of getting all the seats ready. They kind of just keep looking at your way, and every now and again, just like, when are they going to leave kind of look, but it's not too imperative, but you go and leave them and go over to outside with Fiend.
If possible, I'm going to grab a drink on the way out. I don't know if it's limited, but I will get just whatever ye olde liquor they have or alcohol beverage and take that with me.
A dwarven bartender comes over with his kind of braids all kind of put up in one giant bun up here, huge beard with different braids kind of going down past his chest, and this big nice smock with this nice kind of button shirt underneath it. He's bulging kind of big muscles with veins kind of protruding out from the short cut dress shirt. Just looks at you and is like, yeah.
Could I have I don't know, a glass of whatever your finest liquor is?
The finest liquor? You want like the good stuff?
Sure, whatever that is.
All right, well, if you say so. And he kind of just goes down and it's like, I've put most of it away, but I think I still have this on reserve, and brings up this bottle with this bottom that kind of looks like a giant potion bottle almost. Like the bottom is very, very round, and then the top is very, very slender with a very big cork in it. And as soon as he lifts it up, there's this very familiar glow to it. And it's the type of, very familiar to the juice that you had earlier. But a different hue. And he's like, this is one of the finest liqueurs we have, mixed with the enchanted fruit that's found around in these places. won't too much damage than getting just the straight up juice part of it. It's a bit more of the organic nature, but this will cut you is what ails you.
Maybe not along that lines. I was more so thinking like a whiskey, like a bourbon, maybe specifically, or something in that wheelhouse.
No, all right. Let me see. He's kind of just looking down. He's like, well, a lot of us wares are kind of put away. You know what? Just wait here.
She's just got big doe eyes, like, please get me what I need.
He's kind of looking around, and he pulls up this very mundane bottle, and it looks a bit dirty. And he's got a cork on that end, but it's like more of like a Jack Daniels kind of bottle, like very traditional, but see-through clear. And he puts it on the table, puts up a cask or a metal mug. He's like, it's a little bit, we don't offer a lot of the patrons this, but the show you put on was pretty fantastic. So puts in a little maybe like a 2-ounce shot. And he's like, this is my own brew. We have it with the crew after work's done.
A gentleman and a brewer. I've seen it all.
But a brewer's not usually a gentleman.
I think it's just the duality of man. Take it as a compliment. How much do I owe you?
But I'm a dual... don't worry about it. This one's on me, love.
What was your name?
Oh, my name is Lysantha.
Fantastic. Well, it's wonderful to meet you. And then she's going to grab it and walk away.
See ya. And just you just kind of walk away with it.
You said go, right? So she's gonna go.
Maybe a little too quickly for his liking. He's just like, no, fine, all right. just like trying to do nothing.
She's gonna come back around, like walk this way and then back up. I really can't leave without payment, and so she's gonna just leave a gold on the counter, and then walk away quickly so that he can't say anything.
Well, at least they tip you. And just puts it back in his little pouch.
Amazing. She's gonna go outside and find Fiend.
Okay. You see Fiend out in the stoop of the entrance to the Northlook Inn, smoking a big old fat stogie as he usually does. His coat with his lapels kind of pushed up as you can see just the smoke and the breath, like just very visible in this cold environment. Snow is just slowly fluttering down. The wind's pretty stale at this moment. It's not very strong. There's no blizzards or anything like that, but it is very, very cold outside right now.
She's just gonna kind of walk over, not look at him, and then kind of hand it to the side, the drink to him.
Thank you. He'll take a sip. What does it taste like?
Yeah, what does it taste like? Is it bad? Is it disgusting?
It's not. It's an acquired taste. It's one of those things where as soon as you sip it, it is like someone just gut punched you in the stomach, and like you just kind of feel winded, followed by this like 2-second delay, like 5-alarm chili style, where the bouquet of floral and amazing textures and smells just sort of worm the inside of your mouth and go down your gullet. It's one of those things that at first it tastes awful. You're probably gonna cough and go and then it's just the aftertaste is just so overwhelmingly great and warms your whole entire body.
He said it was supposed to be special. I didn't know what that meant, but now I'm starting to think otherwise.
It's special, all right.
Roll a Constitution check.
Oh no!
Oh boy.
Off.
That is going to be a 15. 13 plus 2.
15. Your vision starts to blur a little bit. And there's just like starting to see double for just like a little bit. Almost like you got kind of clocked in the face. But then it starts to focus. And you see Ramira there.
How many fingers am I holding up right now? Can you tell?
2.5.
Oh, correct. Fantastic. Anyways, that's not the point. I thought I was getting you something good to drink, but anyways,
it's a thought that counts. Really.
I suppose. I figured maybe now would be the time to take care of Hathawin.
This would be a good time to do that indeed. I believe our bags have been taken to our rooms already. I just had to figure out which one of them it's in.
We might as well go poke around then.
Suppose so. Fiend gets up, kind of pulls out like the 6 room keys. You take 3 and I'll take 3.
This is excessive. And then she'll take the 3 and go through and like try to open up each one.
Okay, so the keys that you have, they have numbers on them, and they go from, and again, remember that the Northlook Hotel is like a very large building in comparison to a lot of other buildings here in Branch, and it's like a 20-story building. There's lots and lots of rooms up there. You guys are, your rooms are around 13, 16, like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So just kind of all in a row next to each other.
Oh, nice.
I love it when we're all on the same floor. It makes it meeting up so much easier.
There's just one on the next floor. It's like, well,
I know. The one person that has to get moved.
I was ready for that. Like, I was 100% being like, oh, and the next one is like...
Dang it, convention season, not getting on my... Anyways, yeah, just opening up the rooms until we find where our stuff is located that we needed.
Okay, so you're gonna go from the front of the hotel, kind of up the stairs, seeing which levels they are at. And are you going with Fiend or just by yourself?
Well, I guess we'll go together, right? Since it's on the same.
Yeah.
So might as well.
Okay, so you're going up there, and yeah, you go up these kind of crushed red velvet stairs. And if you're going sort of off from the left of the entranceway where the theater room was, off to the right, kind of go through a double-sided doors into a kind of chill area with like a little hearth fireplace that's roaring, a few cushy chairs, and a lot of sitting areas for people to kind of just chill and rest. You kind of see one orc that's just kind of like passed out with a book in his like chest, and he's just like out completely, loud
what
snore.
What book is he reading? You see Ramir like hands behind your back, lean over to see like what he's reading. Like,
I can tell you if you like.
Oh my god, yes, I would love to know. This was just a joke, but...
Just give me a second. I have a list here.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
The book he is reading is a contemporary parody book entitled War and Geese. War and G's, an enchanter's guide to bringing down established governments.
Oh. Interesting. And she's
Please don't let me read that.
Over things, but then like as she does, she's like, oh, that's interesting. I'll have to think about that another time, and then continues to like walk past them.
Was it anything good?
Nothing you would be interested in even remotely.
Nah. Figures. Oh well.
Probably
That's
no
a hoity
pictures at
around
all.
here. How do you
And
know
she-
about my picture books?
I've had to put your drunk ass to sleep multiple nights. Let's not
Fair
talk
enough.
about it.
Fair enough. Onward and upward to greater things.
And you guys kind of go up these different levels, and again, kind of that same sort of situation where you're trying to find a dentist's office, a new building, kind of go up one level, you're like, is it here? Nope. All right, you go up another level, down here? No. So you go up about 4 floors until you see the rooms with the numbers on it. And they're kind of all over the place. They're not very like situated very well. Like they're not in a very good orderly fashion. Like there's like on the first floor, there's like odd numbers. On the second floor, there's like even numbers. And it kind of goes on like that. But on this floor, they're all in one row. And you go on there, and as you're up, you can kind of hear some voices coming from one of the rooms. And it's a bit murmured and hushed, but it sounds like Thal and Caitlin kind of murmuring and talking to each other in one of the rooms down the hall.
It would be a shame if we listened in. I'm gonna just kind of like hold Fiend's jacket really quick and do one of these. And then just...
You roll a perception check.
Ooh,
Watch, it's just gonna be girl talk about tune.
Yeah, that would be so funny though. 22.
Okay. You kind of hear some murmured talk. You're not really sure what it is at this length. You kind of go closer and closer to the doors and kind of put your ear to the door, and you hear heavy breathing.
No, not this kind.
Because it's there. Like.
As soon as
Yes,
I'm like
this is the
aware
correct answer.
of what's happening,
Ivy,
going
I'm
to-
having flashbacks to the first one shot.
Nope.
yeah, as soon as I know what's happening, I'll be like, just kidding, I don't want to.
Anything good?
And she's, well, maybe for them.
Ah. Right then. Anyways, moving on.
I hate to pry on people's personal experiences like that. You learn not to do that early on in a brothel. She keeps walking quickly.
All right, so you're gonna go to both your rooms, or are you both checking out one room, or how are you doing this?
Wherever our stuff is, we gotta unpack Hathawin.
It's true. So yeah, you're going to your room then, Ramira?
Sure, if that's because like I think the gist of it, to my understanding, was somebody brought our stuff up to the room, right?
Yeah. So
Okay,
you got your
yeah,
stuff
so-
already like packed there. But I'm just determining which room you're going into, if you're going to Ramira's or Fiend's or.
Yeah, we can go into my room and I'll start laying like things out and try to make it somewhat comfortable for Hathawin to come back to this world of the living. And like lay out a blanket and like all this stuff, kind of make it more ceremonial. And as she starts to take things out, she'll kind of pause for a moment. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Unrelated to all of this.
Maybe.
What was your father like?
Mance.
You said I could call you Mance once there was less of you in the world. And so I
Yes.
wondered what kind of person he was.
Once upon a time, he was a good man, an adventurer. As there became less and less of his party, he blamed me more and more for it. A burden. Until one day he could settle a debt. And he used me to do that. But it kind of worked out for me in the end. I did go to a new father who taught me the things I know today. A family of sorts. At least I thought.
And your mother?
Wouldn't know. She worked in a brothel.
Kindred spirits, then.
As I always say, my father and mother met once and money exchanged hands.
That sounds about right. And what about you?
What about me? I'm me.
Of course, you are your own person.
Yes.
But if there were to be less and less of us in this party, would you still be a good man?
I suppose that's your definition on good, isn't it? Am I a good man now?
I don't think that's really something that I should answer.
I don't know. I've never had this. Something close. And Farrell and Tarek met the person that came out of the last endeavor. So I'd like to think that I would progress eventually. I'm not as one-sided as my father.
Interesting.
That is, of course, after wiping everything off the face of this planet that took my family from me.
Well, now it sounds a bit more like you, I'll be honest. I've never had someone to lose, but
Really?
I hope that Farrell sticks around.
We've been through quite a bit together. I doubt her troop has anything on us.
I don't know, that doll seems pretty alluring. She's quite taken with Toon.
That is true. She might take Toon from us. But Farrell, maybe not.
I mean, Toon has said before that his heart is gone with a blacksmith of some sort. Which I would be interesting to find out more about her. She sounds interesting.
I'm sure we will one day. We just have to get him drunk and then ask him the same questions.
I don't think he drinks. And she continues to undo like her items and sets out like her candles and all that.
From cups, maybe.
So as you're putting out this kind of ritual of sorts, inside the room too, it's fairly nice. Like it's not, it's not this mega huge suite by any standard, but it's a very nice, like good room. Has kind of this nice soft carpeting on the floor, nice big double bed in the corner, window outlooking the front of the North Look Inn tavern. You've got your own bathroom inside, a little credenza, whatever the closet that's out from the walls called, in there to put in your bags and hang up any clothes that you need, a little chest of drawers on the side of the door that you came into. And as you're kind of laying down all these items on the floor, what kind of things are you putting down? Putting down like cloth, candles?
Yeah, I think I'm going to make like a faux bed of sorts, even though this is all like ceremonial. It's not like required.
Right.
But she feels like it's a need for them. But she makes like a little faux bed for them. She's gonna put out maybe some candles if she can find them. Yeah, she has some candles with her. She'll like light some incense. She'll make it into like a kind of almost a holy place, hoping to beckon in Hathawin's soul, I guess.
Okay. So what spell are you trying to cast?
So I would like to cast Raise Dead, which I return a dead creature to life, provided that it has been dead no longer than 10 days, and the creature's soul is both willing and at liberty to rejoin the body. It rejoins at 1 hit point if it decides to. Okay,
and this is to attempt to revive Hathawin, of course, is our little dryad friend that bit the dust in game time just a few days ago, when we were down in the caves of Wagon's community. So in doing this, I'm going to have you do a little bit of a check, just for bringing back people. I like to put in a little bit of an extra step to see how successful the spell was. So you kind of lay out everything that you need. You make like sort of a makeshift bed for the tiny little dryad known as Hathawin, this kind of fey woodland creature. And Fiend, you had her, I forget where you put her initially, kind of stowed her away.
Box.
Right. And like a fairly big jewelry box in there. And do you kind of sit that down on this bed, or do you like carefully take Hathawin out and rest it on there?
I would carefully take Hathawin out and rest her down, and then I'm going to put a purple pear, hopefully an item that would call her spirit back.
Okay. And as you're kind of both kind of kneeling down, you've lighted the incense, kind of just making it because, when you come back from the dead, it can be a bit jarring. So you're trying to make this like the easiest calming transition that there can be. But I will ask Rhaenyra, in trying to bring the spirit back from whatever world they currently are in, just to kind of test that connection you have to their soul and trying to bring it back into the material plane. Is there anything that you'd like to kind of say, or anything you'd like to do to kind of strengthen that connection that you kind of are hoping to have with Hathawin?
Yeah, so I think what she will do is kind of rub her hands together to kind of get some warmth going to bring this tiny baby back. And then as she does, she's going to whisper into her hands. I don't know that if Fiend would hear this or not. I guess he would have to be listening. But she just quietly asks, okay, Moon Lady, please bring her back. And then she pauses for a second. Hathawin, I'm sorry I wasn't there when you needed me. And then kind of puts her hand down onto Hathawin and tries to revive her there.
Okay. And Fiend, seeing this kind of go down as well, was there anything that you feel instinctive to do or say or try anything to kind of, make this happen? Or do you just kind of watch Rhaenyra do her thing?
Other than the putting the pair there, he probably just mutters under his breath, I will protect you next time.
Okay. So I'm going to have Rhaenyra make a roll. I'm just trying to determine which roll this will be. Make a charisma saving throw.
Okay, you said saving throw?
Yeah.
Okay, 26.
26.
Mm-hmm.
You save that into your hands. You put them down on the tiny dryad. Kind of close your eyes for a minute. And as Fiend kind of says that, underneath his breath, this invisible gust of wind kind of comes through the hotel room. The candles that are kind of lit, you see the flames kind of flicker for a minute as a dim light gets even dimmer for a minute. As you complete your spell, Rhaenyra, big breath out. And then you look down, remove your hands, and Hathawin is just kind of lying there still. And you kind of look at Fiend as the body's kind of still for a little bit longer than you would like.
Is it supposed to do that?
This is my first time.
Come on.
I'm going to small pup. You know how you have to rub small pups once they're first born to help them start their heart up strong and breathe. So she's gonna gently bring up Hathawin and try to get the heartbeat going just to see how we're doing here.
You pick up the little dryad, the little arms and legs kind of off to the side of your palm, and they feel a bit cold to the touch, and you kind of rub the chest, kind of pump it a little bit, try to get the heartbeat going. And then as this happens, Mary kind of have your eyes closed as you're like, come on, come on. And then Fiend, you notice this as the skin on Hathawin has been a bit dull in coloration, a bit of a dull, muted green. And then all of a sudden you just see this lighter green color, like vines starting to go through the arms and the body, and little leaflets start to kind of come out, like flowers being bloomed on branches start to come out from the legs and the arms. And then you just hear as this breath of life starts to come out of Hathawin, as they start to move their legs a little bit, and just
Okay.
a little bit of eyes open up as she's just kind of dangled in the air from these hands.
I'm going to cradle her more carefully now that I've gotten the process going, and then get a blanket. Swaddle.
Yeah. Wrap Hathawin up a little bit as you see these little eyes open up once more. These pupils look out at you, Fiend. Just taking in the surroundings for a minute, and then looks at you. Did we get him?
We got him.
We did.
Oh. I think I need sleep.
Yes.
And they just
Yep.
pass out.
Okay. All right.
Their
And
head
I'm-
just goes off to the side.
I'm gonna also heal them. I'm gonna use a level 1 cure wounds because they only start off with 1 HP. So I just want to make sure that they get back to it. Oh,
Yeah.
full health. Would you look at that? 13 points.
And there you go. So the colorization is back in Hathawin. That sort of bushy, vibrant mess of a hair is no longer dull. The twigs and the leaves and the rough exterior is flowing once more. You see as they're kind of put in that little makeshift burrito onto the bed, you see the chest as they are breathing once more.
I'm gonna just try to make them as comfortable as possible. I'll probably put them on my bed and like snuggle them in, put their little pair next to them, and then wait for them to fall asleep. And then once they do, turn back. I know that I couldn't do what you needed me to do in the moment, but I might not always be able to do that.
Fiend just hugs her.
She's like
Then let's
this
go.
as you do that.
He prestidigitations warmth around Hathawin and then just leaves the room.
She just kind of like slowly shuts the door after you and just kind of sits there for a second. And then just goes off to lay down in bed with Hathawin, kind of like this kind of deal, and like watching Hathawin as she kind of just eventually falls asleep like that. Oh, sweet baby. That's
You just
it.
see the little green body just kind of twitching a little bit as they're sound asleep. And then you go for your sit down, go for your rest as you kind of clean up the space of the candles.
Yeah, she would probably use like this is horrible. She would probably use her weapon to like pin the door shut. Even if it has a lock on it, she would still like pin the door shut with her mace and then go lay back down and be like, okay, yeehaw.
Sort of just situate the mace kind of on an angle to go against the door.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You do that feeling a little frustrated, possibly even a little let down, but just kind of take a deep breath and just be like, deal with this tomorrow, and then go down and lay to rest. As this was happening, what were the rest of you doing?
So I'm pretty much ready to call it a night as I see the bartender packing everything up and people clearing out the drinking area. So I don't intend on sleeping in any of these rooms. I don't know why we have 6 of them, but I would turn to Tarek in parting and sort of nod to him that I'm leaving, but before I go, there's one final thing. I don't believe you have any reason to fear abandonment from Feral. You must compare yourself to this other character, Salil. How much do you truly share with him? You are not 2 sides of the same coin. You are different beings entirely. Take it from one who's loved deeply, recklessly, and felt the sting of regret. It's worth it in the end. Hold what you have while you have it. And then I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna turn into a snowy owl, because that seems like a really comfortable animal to sleep as. And I'm gonna go up on the roof and go to sleep.
Tarek will just give you just a nod and a wave goodnight.
I just like that drops wisdom. Owl.
Drops wisdom. Now, if you'll excuse me.
I'm a bird again.
And as Toon's big, huge,
Wisdom
hairy
bud.
mammoth body just turns around from you, Tarek, and just with a flicker, the whole body just shrinks down to a snowy owl, flies out of the room.
Oh, whilst he's still inside, how does he get out? Do you need me to open the door for you?
The door to the theater room. The door to the theater room's open because you're still in the theater room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those front doors are still open to the foyer there in the beginning of the Northlook Inn. They haven't shut everything yet. They have it open for you, and then the front door is a bit ajar as well. But you see him flutter out to the entrance after that speech, with the moonlight just kind of hitting him on the way out as he goes up to the rooftop of the inn. It's like 20 stories up, so he's pretty high up there. But as that happens and Toon leaves the room, what are the three of you up to? As Salil is still in there with Lilith.
I am well aware where Salil is. I guess since we've just been catching up, we'll just be off to the side. I'll kind of take note that the bar is emptying out and having...
It's just the three of you now.
Yeah, I would have looked over at one point and seen Toon and Tarek talking and been like, oh, they're chatting. Maybe having not realized yet that Toon is left. Like that was his parting.
And then Salil kind of talking to you, just be like, well, seems like your boyfriend isn't a very friendly type, eh?
Are you really going to act this way? Like this is what you're going to act like tonight. Don't shrug at me.
Look, we've all said our things. We've all squashed our beefs. I have been doing my part to try to get to know you and your friends. Just seems clear that one of your friends doesn't want to get me, and that's fine. It's fine. I get it.
You don't sound like it's fine.
Really messed up.
You don't sound like it's fine.
Well, I mean, we've had a lot to drink, so I'm sorry if my emotions are kind of painted on my face and I can't hide it the way that everybody else around here can. But
okay, look, you've never been one to hide your emotions from me, anyways. So don't act like it.
Be that as it may, this is something that we can pick up again tomorrow. I'd like to talk to him at least, if he's willing.
And what would you like to say to him? Are you going to behave yourself?
Do I have to put everything by you first, Mom?
How dare you?
Hey, Tarek! And he just says that over to you.
She sits back on the bar just glaring.
He was probably already looking over at hearing a very loud "how dare you." He probably is turning and just looking already. So when he just turns to just look at Tarek, he's already staring at him.
You look a bit lonely over there, friend. Why don't you come join us?
Like, Farrell will silently, like, grit through her teeth, be nice.
I'm nice. I'm a nice guy.
Okay, look, you used to be.
Just gonna stare daggers at him for a moment.
We can take this outside. I've
just
had enough.
Look towards Farrell and be like,
I've had enough to drink. Like, we can fight right now if you want.
I'd lose that fight.
You're right, you would. Correct.
Tarek, she's yelling at me. Will you just come over here? This is getting ridiculous.
oh, I think you deserve it.
What do you mean I deserve it?
Farrell's just kind of slow turn.
I was thinking about leaving. Farrell, are you staying?
I will be. She kind of looks to Scylla. I think that we were just about to head out for the evening as well. Okay.
Oh, don't say I didn't try. And he just kind of gets up and starts walking out the door. And as soon as he leaves you and the dwarven bartender, you can see this sort of sigh of relief, like, oh, thank God, like they're finally leaving.
Farrell will like slide 2 pieces of gold on the counter. I am so sorry for the late evening, and get up from her chair.
Comes with a gig, it's fine, and just kind of starts putting the glasses away. And as Salil's kind of leading the way,
she'll kind of wave, good night.
Oh, well, you're coming with me. So is he. We're all on the same floor, eh there, buddy? And kind of slaps you on the shoulder, Tarek, as he kind of walks past you.
Don't touch me again.
Hey.
He says, not looking at him. Just continues walking.
And you see Salil kind of, sort of stumbling from side to side. He's had a couple, maybe a few too many drinks, being a little overconfident.
Yeah, Farrell's like, God, you're such a lightweight.
And you just see him kind of go past the two of you, and he goes around that door past the entrance. So now it is just the two of you kind of making your way out of the theater.
Are you ready?
Yes, definitely. It's been a long evening.
Yeah, and she'll kind of gesture to the door, then take her leave. Walk out first.
He'll tag along with you.
And you can kind of hear the footsteps of Salil kind of a few feet ahead of you. So you kind of have a general direction of like where to go. You just hear him kind of stumbling, heavy footfalls going up the stairs and up to the floor that he has. So
I'm sure he's drunkenly singing the entire way.
Yep, he's singing a tune, but it's kind of hard to make out. It's a little bit muffled from where you are, but it has the same jaunt as the song that you came in to the room before.
That's kind of what she was assuming. Just that song is trash. As she's just following along. Kind of looking back at Tarek since he's bringing up the end of our little trio here. Did you have anything to drink?
1 or 2.
How was
Wasn't really in a drinking mood tonight, but
I'm surprised. I would have drinking more. She's got like rosy cheeks, like she's definitely had a couple herself.
Are you all right?
Oh, this is normal for me. Yes, I'm just fine.
Okay.
How was your conversation with Toon? It looked like you guys were having a nice conversation.
Yes, he certainly growing on me. He's a good person and a good soul. Has his way with words, which I certainly do not. He says as he thinks back on the conversation with Ramiro earlier.
Or turning people into weasels. He's also very good at that.
That was very entertaining. If he can do that again tomorrow, that would be great.
No, we can't just keep turning him into a weasel.
Why not?
No. God, that's gonna have some lasting effects too. Like that would be rough. Tomorrow's gonna be rough, isn't it? Kind of sobering up for a second.
I mean, depends where we go and what we're doing. As of tomorrow, we have 3 days to get to Asgard before the funeral.
I know. Well, we are going to the wrestling match, so that'll be something to put on the books for tomorrow.
Yes, that should be interesting.
Extremely. I'm concerned that Fiend is actually going to enter the ring, which will be interesting.
I hope he does. That would be very entertaining.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I would let himself get knocked on his ass. That'd be very unlike him.
You are correct.
Whilst I would love to see it, I don't think he would ever let that happen.
You are correct, which is why I will be betting. No, I will be betting money on Fiend if he enters the ring tomorrow. Correct.
I didn't think about that. Check this coin purse real quick. Sure, I can spare a few.
About how far are we from our room at this moment?
So in doing that, you've kind of made your way up the stairs, up to 3 floors or so. And then as you're kind of having this conversation, you kind of come over to the left out of the stairwell. You kind of see Salil kind of opening up his door, which is around the 6th one down from where that sort of hallway is, as he kind of is just entering his room and kind of closing the door behind.
Accurate. Which ones do we need to get our keys from Ramira, or
I think Fiend had the keys.
which room is Fiend in? Did anybody happen to get that?
Fiend!
You just yelled down the hall.
Hello.
I was like,
Yes?
oh,
There he is. Fiend, we need our keys.
There you go. Just chucks you 2 keys.
thank you.
No problem.
Good night.
No problem.
You hear a muffled voice through one of the rooms. Shut the fuck up!
Pearl and Oliver, like a little bit of drunkenness, just giggles. Okay.
Kind of turns to you for a moment, looking at the 2 keys, like, would you like your own space?
If you'd like to talk to me before I go to sleep, that's something I can do, but I think I need to be alone tonight.
Right. Yes, that's...
Did
Yes.
you need to talk to me?
I've got some questions, if you are okay with that. Perhaps
Yeah.
put my mind at ease.
I can answer a couple of questions.
Okay. Kind of looks down the hall. Do you want to do this here, or?
No, like she's like,
Okay.
you might want to go to your room. Like,
Okay, yeah.
damn it, Tarek.
He's confused and nervous.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, he'll just kind of open up one of the rooms and just step inside, and kind of gesture.
And she'll walk inside.
Just closes it. Doesn't lock it, just closes it, very much being like, the door is there if you need it. Like,
Right. No, she picks
we're
up
not
on that.
trapped.
She definitely picks up on that because her first thing is looking for a way of escape. So
Mm-hmm.
she does pick up on it.
Yeah, and just
She
puts the
kinda-
key down on the side.
Yeah, she finds a place to kind of sit down in the room and kind of sits there expectantly.
You kind of like gesture and be like, "Is it alright if I sit with you?"
Of course.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you no.
Well, I should ask, shouldn't I? Seems
Since
like-
when?
Since I've been spending more time around you lot. What do you think?
She'll kind of sit back and, relax in the chair, but what do you want to know?
Well, everything really, but that's very vague, so I'll narrow it down. How long?
Can't promise before you start that you're going to like any of the answers.
As long as it's the truth and nothing but the truth, that's what I want.
I will give it to you as honest as I can be. That is the extent of my promise.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Easy one. How long were you traveling with this group? I spent a long time talking to them. They seemed decent folk, at least.
A year and a half, 2 years. About that.
All of them?
All of them. I was the last member.
Ah, I see. And Salil, you...
Yes. Me and Salil. About a year, a little over that.
I see. And you just left? Without a
Yeah.
word?
Not a word. Correct.
Why?
She's kind of thinking back to her just outburst in the dressing room where she literally threw a dagger at his feet. It was like, probably should not do that here. It's late in the evening. She kind of shrugs a little and looks kind of anywhere around the room, but like when you're in a really awkward, like, I don't want to look at my parent kind of thing.
Ouch.
She's like, because I did a bad thing and I couldn't face him or them.
What did you do?
All right. She's gonna. All right. If I'm being honest, me and Salil were set to run away together. Away from the troop. Leave together. And I was offered a job to assassinate someone. And knowing it was going to be enough money to set us for a while, not just running away, but to set us together for a while, I took it. And I did it. And it was easy. And it was, she kind of shook. She's like, it was easy. I didn't mind doing it. And I couldn't go back to him covered in blood.
Didn't think about going back to him after you had cleaned up? That is standard protocol, really. I'm sure you would know that.
The people I got involved with, I had been working for a while. It was not going to be an easy leave if I went back to him. And so I didn't. I decided it was easier for me to leave and protect him and make sure he didn't get involved and them get involved than facing him. I did get cleaned up afterwards. I'm sure you're wondering.
So that would explain why you were at the heist then, working for these same people, or?
Well, actually, different job, same premise. You actually got in my way.
Really?
You were in
one to talk. Remember when I was going to leave? Remember that?
I remember that. I'm just saying, if you had not taken up all of Balthazar's time being Tim the Adventurer...
I thought we said never to speak of that again.
If you want the entirety of it, then we're going to hash out the entirety of it.
Internally cringes remembering.
But if you had not taken up all of Balthazar's time, I would have killed him.
Well, that might have made things difficult. Or perhaps easier.
It's fine. He died anyways.
Then you completed your job. Without getting paid.
Not the way I was supposed to. She kind of sits back. So what, you were just there to steal that cube, right?
Yes. You saw what it was?
Yeah, I saw what it was. More questions for me?
Perhaps a couple.
You better get to asking.
What's your real name?
I go by Farrell and Lilith. That is my real name. Those are my names.
Are there any others that I should know about?
A few. None that I go by.
Or perhaps you should tell me them someday, so that I know if we're going to be in danger. That's why I want to know, because I want to make sure that we're not in danger and that
I'm putting us in danger.
that's not fair. We're all putting ourselves in danger. I thought I was the only one. Seems I am not the only one. So, just need you to come clean with me, that's it. That's all I ask.
I'm being honest.
And what would you like me to call you?
Whatever feels more natural to you. I go by both. Laryl.
Absolutely not.
All I can think of is Griffin. Laryl.
Feral it will be then.
Feral is fine. What else? You look like you have something on your mind.
Can you make me one promise?
Can I hear
Just
the
the one.
promise first? Can I hear your terms first?
Promise me you won't leave the same way you did before.
When you say leaving like I did before, do you mean saying nothing? Do you mean just leaving? What of this do you mean? You have to give me more than that.
At least without telling me why. And letting me try to fix it first.
Tarek,
Please.
I need you to understand something. Like I want you to actually look at me. And she kind of, I don't need you in my life. If I have you in my life, it's because I want you there. But I don't need you to save me like I am a damsel in distress, because I am not.
That's not.
I don't need you to fix me.
That's
And
not
I
what
know that might be a hard pill for you to swallow. However, I don't need you to fix me. I'm not broken. And if I am, I have to fix it myself.
So is it a promise or not?
If I was to leave, I'd leave you a note.
You wouldn't even tell me.
I can't promise something that I don't even know what the situation would be. You can't ask the impossible of me.
Please at least try. If it comes to that, please just something.
I promise I will try.
Okay. That's something.
Anything else for me?
Certainly set my mind at ease.
She sits back a second, just so you know. Salil is not just an ex, or whatever he is at the moment. He was my first everything. Date, kiss, lover, Just so you know.
All right, I understand.
I have one question for you. If we're going to be honest with each other.
I'm sorry if I treated him illy this evening. I assumed he was more at fault than it seemed.
I am at fault. I am the bad guy in this, and he did nothing wrong. Minus the attitude. Like, he definitely... He
could
100%.
Attitude adjustment, 100%.
Oh, no.
Again, so could I.
100% was correct with the weasel. Like, that was great. Props to Toon. I'm sure he's...
Perhaps I will speak with him tomorrow. We shall see.
I only have...
I won't hurt him. Promise.
Mentally or physically?
Okay.
Thank you.
Kind of joking, just giving a smile on that one, like he wasn't going to do it anyway. Well, maybe.
Before I leave for the evening, I have one question for you. So
It's only fair.
You're gonna not. You won't like it.
There are a lot of things I don't like.
I need you to be honest with me about your old party.
This sounds like more than one question.
Do you want me to ask specific ones? That's only fair.
What do you want to know?
How many of them are alive?
I don't know.
How many of them are dead? That you know of?
One.
Your hand or not?
It's getting late. I should go. This is...
What happened to your honesty? Your hand or not?
Mine. But that's not me anymore. I did something awful and something that I will never forget. And that I will never forgive myself for. But if it puts you at ease, the rest of them don't know. When it happened, they were present, but their minds were erased of the entire event. As far as they know, he still lives, so do I. We just disappeared one night, same as you did. Without a trace.
So, I have one more. What's to ensure me that you're not going to do the same to me?
To you?
Or any of them?
Like I said, that's not me anymore.
That's not what I asked.
I don't crave power. I don't turn on those who I was going to turn on anyway. The whole, if you must know, when I originally joined them, they were pawns and that was it. That's those who I could influence. They trusted me and that was their mistake. I did awful things, Farrell. Let's not pretend.
I've not
Neither
ever.
of us are good people.
I've not ever said I was a good person. You viewed me as a good person. You saw what you wanted to see, and then it wasn't true.
You are always good to me. Maybe not to others, maybe not to others, but to me. And that's enough for me.
If you ever touch my memory or theirs,
It wasn't me. I didn't do it. It was...
if you ever have them touch my memory or theirs, you will never see me again.
I would never do such a thing. They... This pains me to say, but they didn't mean as much to me as the rest of you do. I once scolded one of them, Maeve, for trying to tell me that they saw me as a sibling. That was too much. I couldn't do that. That's all they were. But all of you, Ramira, Fiend, Toon, this is what I actually want. I chose to stay with the rest of you for a different reason, not to use you or to because I felt for once actually accepted, and that I felt like I could change and not follow that path anymore. And that's what I did, and that's why I'm here. I hope you can think better of me, because that is not who I am anymore. And that I can promise you.
I'm just saying, if you ever touch my memories or them,
I won't.
I'm just letting you know.
Mm-hmm. I am very aware. I would never risk losing you.
Guess you better get to know the real me then, huh?
Yeah.
I think she kind of rubs her eyes. I think that's enough for the evening.
Yes.
And she stands very awkwardly, kind of like not sure what to do right now, and then turns and leaves and goes to her room.
You forgot your room key.
Yeah, give. Just toss it. She turns.
Toss it
Thanks.
across the room to you.
And she'll stand there a second and then leave.
I'll see you in the morning.
Hopefully I'm not hungover then.
You will be.
And she goes to her room.
Okay. So, with all that,
You good, Kevin?
Kevin was not good.
I'm having a great time.
He meant unpack your briefcase.
So with that, with Farrell leaving Tarek's room for the night, everyone seemingly off to sleep. The rest of you have a fairly good sleep. Like, you don't really hear anything out of sorts. You can Tarek, you can kind of hear Fiend's loud snore echo through your wall. bit, as he is very fast asleep as well. Farrell, as you go into your room.
I have a thing.
As you go into your room?
Yeah.
Okay.
She probably would sleep for a little while. Just out of pure, being drunk and the intense conversation she had. At some point in the evening, when everybody else is asleep, she can make out the breathing of her, whoever. She'll kind of listen for the silence in the hotel on this floor.
Yeah, next to the room, Thal's room is next to yours, so you kind of, as you go into there, you can kind of hear the
God damn it! Just
little murmurs of, but it subsides after a while.
Thank God, I'm not sharing a wall with Thayer. She's gonna stand in the middle of her room, get up, pace around the floor, just completely lost. She will even go as far as packing her bag, slinging it on her shoulder, and walking to the door, stepping into the hall, standing there for a moment, and then turning back and stepping back in her room and closing the door quietly and putting it on the floor. Walking to the middle of the floor and just starts sobbing and hitting her knees and just crying quietly to herself. She won't bother anybody else. She just has a complete emotional breakdown finally, where it all hits her at once. And after some time passes, she will go back to bed.
Okay. Tarek, for the first time in a very, very long time, you sleep peacefully. You have no one entering your dreams. You don't have any flashbacks of past trauma. Sound asleep. Oh, you're muted, I think.
Is this the beach episode?
Oh my God!
If it is, it's
what you
overcast.
get. That's the beach episode. You get one night's sleep. That's it. That's all. Don't say I don't give you anything.
Funny you had to say that, because as you were all asleep,
No!
Toon,
Yep.
with you perched up on top of the Northlook Inn, being a bit, trying to fall asleep in your owl form. But as an owl, you have advantage on perception checks. So I would like you to roll that, please.
Okay. That's going to be a 17.
17. As you are asleep, you faintly hear a small murmuring of sorts, hushed voices from the height that you're at down below. A series of them.
Okay.
Just a very faint.
Is it Salil?
No,
Okay.
it's not Salil. This sounds like many voices, not just one.
Okay.
And as these voices, this sounds kind of just perks you up a little bit. Your owl eyes perk up. Your head turning 360 around. You look down from your perch and you see a garrison of guards from Bryn Shander going down a main road. There's a lot of them. There's probably around 20 or so, all in a formation, all with torches, and a small goblin that you can just barely make out that you remember from the reception area, tied up, bundled up, and there's just this formation of torchlight and guards, 4 of them in the middle holding this goblin that's kind of just murmuring around, and they're all going down one main road, and they're starting to turn and going down another main road.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
This goblin who is in the reception area, I didn't have an interaction with them, like, one-on-one at all.
Nope. You just remember seeing them as you passed by.
Yeah. I'm curious. This is very unorthodox. I don't think I would bother waking the rest of my party, but I would, sort of flying above them, follow them to just see where they're going with this prisoner this late at night.
Okay. So as you see this group of guards carrying this goblin down the main street, you kind of wake up and start gliding and making your way, getting lower as you do to get a better vantage point. And you follow them for quite a distance, and they're heading towards the outskirts of the encircled settlement. And remember, Bryn Shander is a very large settlement. Again, not as big as a city by any chance, but it's a very, like, just a big, small town.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes them a few minutes to get over to the outskirts of the town. But as they get towards one of the wooden gated enclosures, just see your guard going, "Hey, open it up. It's time." And the guards go out and go, "Yep, right away." The 2 massive wooden doors open up, and outside of the wooden enclosure is just this wind that's just whipping out outside of the enclosed wall. It's kind of blocking the wind from kind of coming inside, and it's hard to see anything out past a few feet from the enclosure of this village. You just see darkness, gray, wind, and the blizzard outside is blowing pretty furiously, and the snow is just making it very hard to see anything past that point. As you kind of go lower to another sort of village top, another rooftop, perch yourself there. 4 of those guards make their way past the other that are surrounding it, and they kind of step off to the side as the 4 of them are sort of handling this goblin. And at the head of the group, there seems to be a woman with very long, luscious blonde hair in that same sort of guard adornment like the others, with a few badges on the left lapel. And their gear are kind of like shoulder to shoulder with this kind of chest breast pocket that's over with a bunch of buttons. This big, long, like fur enclosure that goes around their neck. They're all bundled up with big gloves, boots, everything. And as they're wriggling this goblin, they kind of put him upright. And she takes out this rapier and points it at the goblin and be like, "You knew what was going to happen. We all signed up for this. You were just unlucky, my friend. Now, you can walk out there, or you can die here. And we can take you out there anyway. It's your choice. But most like to take the chances." And as the goblin's just bundled up, not able to say anything, just looking around at everybody, staring at them, and this realization of the moment at hand is about to pass. And he just nods as she takes the rapier and takes off the wrists and the ankles. And the material around his mouth falls down. And she just looks at them. "It's because of you that the rest of us can survive. You will be honored. We will make sure that your friends and family are very well set up for it." And the little goblin is just starting to shake as he looks out ahead of him. I'll see you all on the other side, I guess. And he starts. Makes his way out past that wooded barrier into that snowy, vicious wind. And he looks back at the guards, all holding torches, putting them up high. And as the goblin lurches forward, takes a look back, further and further into that blurry gray mist. And all of a sudden, he gets overtaken by the mist and the snow. And then as that blur kind of subsides, you have very keen perception with your owl eyes. You can see that whatever clothes he had is just on the snowy ground. And the footprints that were leading up to that spot, there's nothing ahead of them.
Okay.
And it's there, guys, that we're going to take our break. So, hey! All right. So after that amazing RP session and a cliffhanger there, hey, subscribers, remember I said before I got cut off that this is your time to shine? Well, it still is. So if you want to win a set of dice tray, or dice vault, courtesy of the great Jody Rose, co-creator of the channel, we're going to put in a keyword into the chat. Please type it in once, and only US and Canadian people only, because shipping sucks, unfortunately. But yeah, guys, so we're going to get you to put a keyword in there if you'd like to win some cool stuff. And what should the keyword be, people?
Bad.
Beach.
I was thinking, beach. I think beach is a good. I think beach is the correct answer. I was going to say goblin, but I like beach better.
Beach. Okay. Beach is the word. Type it in just once. And yeah, guys, we'll be back in around 10 minutes or so as we refill the drink, stretch the legs. But don't go anywhere, because this is about to get very interesting. We'll see you guys. Hello, everyone. We have returned. So it seems like this week no one entered into a giveaway, which is okay. Happens sometimes. But I thought I'd take this moment just to let anyone who's still watching know that we're going to start changing up the giveaways. That was kind of our last stint with the giving away of the dice and the dice tray and all that. Starting next week, we're going to change up giveaways in that we're going to have the same thing, have people enter the keyword, and then the winner of that week's giveaway will be entered to be a part of a party, a D&D party for a one-shot that I am going to DM for that group the following month at a date that we'll determine. So the giveaways will be basically playing a good old game of D&D with your old pal Dicecream. So yeah, guys. So once again, for subscribers only, because we want to make sure that those people are being well looked after. And yeah, so hopefully, if you are a subscriber still to the Dicecream Twitch channel, you have that to look forward to starting next week. So thank you guys, all of you, for watching, supporting everything you do. We love you all very much. But with all that out of the way, let's pick up where we left off before the break with Toon in his owl form, perched on a building near these garrison of guards who had just seemingly sent this goblin into the snowy wind and has just vanished in a mere few seconds. Toon, you seeing this, the goblin taken out, the wind whipped by, his clothes, everything on the ground, no tracks following where he seemingly stopped. The guards, seeing this, just kind of all put their heads down, murmur, what maybe seemed like a prayer of some sorts, and then just put their heads up, and they slowly start to disperse. What would you like to do?
So I don't think I'm foolhardy enough to really run out into the storm to try and save the drunk goblin. As great as that would be, I really don't want to sort of end up disappearing without a trace and leaving my party to wonder what happened to their big elephant friend. But the goblin seemed to go on his own accord and be informed as to what was happening here. Realistically, I'm going to descend. I'm going to fly down towards this group of guards and then come out of wild shape and turn into my Luxodon self and confront them.
Okay.
I've got a lot of spells if they want to give me trouble, but I don't think that's going to happen. I just want to have a nice dialogue here. So I'm going to give them a second too, so that they're not too startled. I'm not just going to be like, what did you do here? Why did you throw that goblin into the storm? It's going to be more of me coming down and then rising up to assess this whole band of guards with torches and the like.
Okay. So as you kind of descend from a nearby rooftop, as the garrison of guards are kind of being led sort of out from this gate back into the main part of the town, still led by that woman with the long blonde hair and the medals and lapel, you kind of swoop down kind of a distance away, sort of in a shadow somewhere, as an owl swoops into a nearby shadow, and then this woolly mammoth Luxodon suddenly appears in front of them with the moonlight shining down on you. And as the woman sort of sees you there with the guards, she just kind of stops for a minute and puts her hand on her rapier.
The hour of the wolf is upon us, and I sense that blood has been spilt this night. Do you care to explain what has occurred here? And I'm just going to look to the lot of them.
And she kind of looks over at her guards. Well, no blood was spilt. Who are you again?
I am Tun Kalaki Halo Nupe, spirit speaker of the Kaulak of the North. I have lived in these lands far longer than you or any of your living kin, Shield Maiden. And I ask you once more, dealings happened this night. Tell me of them, if you would speak true.
And she kind of looks over to the guard who kind of comes over, and you kind of see them whispering to each other. And she goes, oh, one of the newcomers that arrived. Puts the rapier back into the sheath. I heard you put on quite a show at the theater this, well, last night, I should say.
A trifling errand. One that did not result in any death. Now, your performance tonight, did that differ? And I sort of keep on the questioning because I want answers.
And as your very intimidating woolly mammoth form is just peering down at these people. We do what we must to ensure the survival of our people. Surely you, being somebody who has lived in these lands as long as you have, know of the many dangers that surround this area.
I know better than you. You are not preaching to one who does not understand the harsh existence we must eke out for ourselves in these lands. So, is it spirit, demon, ancient monster that you sacrifice that innocent to? Was it punishment for some crime? Or was it for your own perverse enjoyment that you set that goblin into the storm?
I do not enjoy what must be done to make sure that our people survive. This is not a joyous occasion for me, Luxodon. I am merely doing my part. You may have noticed that the winters around here have not been very kind as of late and have gone on much longer than they are supposed to be. There has been no sunshine in these parts for a few years now. The winter rages on. Storms arise when they should be quiet.
So it's the mist then.
The Frost Maiden needs a sacrifice. The Frost Maiden demands exchange for letting our towns live on in her presence.
I see.
This is something that has been foretold, and if we do not do our part, the lives of everyone around you, as you see, could end. Don't know when, don't know how. But
You
everybody...
would tip the scales of fate with the blood of innocence. That is not justice. A new way must be found. From whom do you get these orders to take those into the storm? This is not your doing. There is one above you. Who would that be?
You are new to these parts. Have you been to Bryn Shander before?
I have not.
So then it's safe to say that the ways of our people may be strange to you. How we conduct things you're not an expert on.
You are correct, and this prattle wastes my time. I asked you, from whom do you take these orders?
And the guards have all got their hands on their swords, all just like waiting for a moment's notice for her to just give the signal and do something.
Your brittle steel will shatter in these winter winds that I command. Now, tell me.
Roll an intimidation check. At advantage, because that was sick.
Thank you. That's not going to be bad. That's going to be an 18.
An 18. As the guards kind of get feeling a little uneasy, she just kind of puts a hand out and puts their bodies at ease and just starts walking towards you. And as you tower her by a few feet, she just looks up at you. This is the work of the council. This was a joint effort from appointed people from each member of 10 towns. There is no leader. There is no appointed person above us. We agreed to do this as a group. And for what it's known, most of the members in these cities, these towns, they are aware of what is transpiring and, well...
They walked out willingly, that goblin, so I will not topple this that gives you peace and structure for now. But know that there must be a better way. Your people deserve a better way, and the Frost Maiden has no claim on them, despite her living in these lands. I take no quarrel with you this night. I will go back to my business. May you get back to yours. I'm gonna turn and head back to the inn.
As you turn around, you hear a couple of swords sort of being unsheathed for a moment. As the woman looks back and goes, let him go. And your giant hulking Loxodon form turns around, goes out of the moonlight once more into the shadow. And you make your way back to the inn. Do you go back in owl form and go back onto the rooftop?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. So as you enter that shadow once more, transform once an owl once again, as they just look on as your wings carry on as snowfall is just slowly fluttering down. And as you go back onto the rooftop, you see those guards just kind of converse for a moment, and then they start to scatter out amongst the town. Do you go back to sleep?
Yeah, totally.
All right.
Sleepy bird yelling at people makes me so tired.
So with that, we come to the following day. And as the sun slowly starts to rise, Toon, you kind of notice the sunrise coming up over these icy lands as you've seen many, many times before. And as the sunlight kind of hits your person, as it rises and rises, you're kind of just awoken from the warmth of the sunlight hitting you. Kind of still confused about what you witnessed, what you saw, but fully knowing that whatever has transpired, you've now kind of put yourself in the middle. And then the rest of you start to slowly, after a couple hours with the sunrise kind of hits, it's around like 7 o'clock, kind of hear bustling from the different workers inside, kind of starting their jobs. And you all start to slowly rise. Hathawin next to Ramira, still bundled up, just still breathing. But it is the next day. What would you all like to do?
I immediately take this child to get some breakfast.
Okay.
Anything this child wants.
Whatever this child wants.
Yeah, point to it and I will acquire. That's what she's going to do for the morning.
I want the drive to be like, I crave violence, and we're be like, okay.
Point, and it shall be done. Yeah, she's going to take the little thing downstairs.
Okay, so you make your way downstairs with the rest of you.
Yeah, I think Farrell's quiet. I don't think that she's going to be like, obviously she's going to try to hide the fact that she literally just had a mental breakdown and was left. But she's going to be kind of quiet, but she's going to come downstairs and look for some coffee. But as soon as seeing the drive, be like, oh, you got him. Like demeanor change, just, you got him.
Yes, she's doing quite well. I am about to acquire a big breakfast for them.
That's what I'm sure Fiend is as overjoyed as Fiend can be.
He seemed very happy.
Weird.
Yes.
She goes and gets some coffee. A little in a better mood now that she's seen this little dryad back to life again, but still
I'm going to
quiet.
Slowly snake my hand, not into your hand because we're not like that frenzies, but she's going to gently cup your wrist as like a you can't get away from me. We're walking together now.
She's like, oh, okay.
And I'll just look at you and go, I know a runner when I see one. We're the same, Pharaoh.
You know, the more I find out about you, the more I think that's very true.
And then she's going to hook her entire arm into Pharaoh's arm. Anyways, I'll buy you some coffee this morning.
You don't have to do that. You already gave me some gold. Let me do
One coffee.
No, fine. Okay, one coffee, but I
coffee.
get the next one. And I get to help pay for the child.
And as you two are conversing down here, Tarek, Fiend, Toon, what are you doing as the day comes about?
So I sort of have this foreboding now, knowing that there is some dark workings happening behind the scenes in this town, and I want to inform everybody about that, but like collectively, and at the joyous reviving of their Hathawin friend. I'm not going to bring that up yet, but I'm just going to stay sort of like quiet, and they'd probably notice like a darker cast and sort of gloomy expression on my face while I try to find out if they have any vegan food here.
Okay, so the druids are being moody.
All right.
Yeah.
Tarek,
moody, ruin angst.
Tarek and Fiend.
Yeah. Tarek's gonna just wake up slowly, kind of look around very suspiciously, get up. Just the fact that he's trying to work out whether he's streaming or not, because this isn't normal. So he's immediately on guard, thinking that something's going to go wrong. Takes a minute to kind of like pace the room. Nothing seems out of place. Looks out the window. A perfectly nice day outside. He's very thrown off by that. And then he kind of, I think probably as he kind of like turns away from the window, probably like knocks his hand against something and just like feels like the metal and looks down. Just realize that the ring is stopping him from having nightmares, which is gonna be weird, and he's gonna have to get used to that. But he'll just kind of make his way downstairs, kind of just looking a little confused more than anything, still just kind of a little relieved, but also just like confused.
Yeah, it's a strange feeling that just like, you know, when you've kind of slept with chronic back pain all your life and you're just like, this is just how I live. Like, I don't know, this is just normal. And then when it's gone, you're just like, what is
So
wrong
stand
with
up
me?
straight like, what? God, it's fine.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a sense of worried relaxation. It's like you feel really like you've got a good sleep. There's no bags under your eyes. You're not sore anywhere, and you're just like, this is a weird feeling. I don't know if I like it.
He'll just make his way downstairs and kind of seeing everyone starting to get breakfast and such. He'll see Hathawin and just be like, Hathawin? How did this happen?
And as that happens, we'll transition just over to Fiend. Getting up
Fiend,
this morning.
kind of hearing, like, counting on his fingers, like, all right, like, there's 1, 2, 3, all right, 4 of them. 4 of them I've heard walk past my room at this point. He opens his door, shuts it, goes to one of the rooms that wasn't being used, and rifles through his keys and unlocks the door. And it's just filled with room service, like platters that were, like, thrown onto the floor, like half-eaten foods, and just seeing the 2 chewingas in there, like, all right, it's time to go.
And they just scuttle over to you.
Alrighty, boys. Gals. Spirits. To breakfast.
And there's 2 little chewingas are just like kind of smacking each other, just fighting for no reason. They have a little breadcrumb of like cake that they're still trying to finish before going down. And as you're going down, that's when you all kind of convene with Ramira and Farrell kind of getting there first. And then the rest of you kind of slowly walking into this tavern area of the North Inn and Tavern. So off to that left area, there was that theater room. Then off to the right, there was that kind of conversation, sort of chill area with the fire. Then up those stairs, up to the rooms. Past that is the tavern area, through another set of like wooden sort of double doors that kind of swing back and forth with like portcullis holes in them. And as you enter, it's pretty dead in here. You guys are definitely the first people to arrive. And at the sort of bar area is the same dwarf that you saw from the bar.
No.
God damn, does he sleep?
The Clopin? He got stuck with the Clopin shift?
Oh, poor guy.
Which is why he was pretty adamant. It was just had that face of like, are they going to leave soon? Because I got to get up for the goddamn morning.
Oh, at least we tipped him.
You did. And he appreciated that.
Poor guy.
But as you go up to him ordering food and everything, he's like, oh, it's you 2 again. Did you have a good night's rest?
I just glower, like not directly at him, but just clearly I'm upset. That's not his fault.
So when Farrell orders her coffee, because that's all she wants is coffee, she'll be like, what do you have for, like, seeing Toon's obvious upset demeanor, what do you have for a vegan breakfast? Like, just give me some fruit or something along those lines. Thank you.
Not the fruit.
Yeah, I could give you some fruit.
Something, like not that fruit specifically. She's like, but, you know.
A salad, maybe?
Yeah, something.
Root vegetables? Seeds.
Just give me the best you can do.
Tortilla.
That time,
That's all I ask. The best.
as he's looking at you 2, just giving him like 1,000 different variations of a menu item, he's like,
Okay. She's like, sorry. How about the best that you can do for me.
Okay.
Great.
And just like turns around and goes back between some double doors to the kitchen area for a while. And then Toon and Tarek and Fiend, you're all kind of congregated together.
I'm gonna look over at Toon and kind of put one fist on my chin. Now, Toon, you're usually so chipper. What's wrong?
I do not mean to bring down this joyous occasion. I am glad that you've recovered your ally, Hathawin.
You couldn't possibly bring down this joyous occasion. Hathawin's back to life. It's an amazing day. We're going to have just an absolute epic adventure.
Are you still
shopping.
drunk?
And no, I'm in a good mood for once. And
How did it even happen? How?
Pharaoh just points to Ramira.
Who did this, Ramira?
She is a cleric.
Apparently, shoving diamonds up someone's ass to make them bring something back to life is not required.
Was that ever up for debate?
No, Toon,
I
I'll
just kind of
explain
like
that later.
slowly pan over to Fiend.
I'll explain that one
Apparently,
later.
at one point, it was an option.
Tarek will just give you a pat on the shoulder and just be like, I'm
Anyways,
She puts her hand on your hand. Thank you, Tarek. Hopefully, I can do this more succinctly in the future.
in all honesty, Toon, what's the matter?
I was awoken last night, deep in the dark hours, the wee hours of morning, and guards were escorting a willing supplicant to the gates as a sacrifice, an offering to the Frost Maiden. They went out into the storm and were lost. Apparently, that is part of a ritual that is maintaining the sanctity of this town, if you could call it that.
You're not hurt or anything, right? Like looking him up and down, just like wait.
I'm fine. I spoke to those who took these orders upon themselves, who led this goblin to the gates, but they did not throw that figure out. They went willingly, thinking that they were sacrificing themselves for some greater good, but I cannot help but see evil in this. It is a dark thing, and in service to a dark goddess, and I wish to undo it, but I do not see a way, not now. And again, I do not mean to rain down upon this joyous occasion, but I needed to inform all of you of that.
No, that's very good information. I was gonna say, seeing Fiend, be like, wait, Fiend, what? What are you looking for?
It's not the normal fellow manning the desk at front. What did this goblin look like?
The very same. It was your sugar bear.
Oh, not Sugar Bear. Oh, you have
I'm
certainly
sorry, who?
moved down my move.
Who is this sugar bear? I'm confused.
I promised I wouldn't let anything happen to him.
Man spoke to the desk goblin and
Spoke to.
I would like everyone at this moment to roll a history check.
Name.
Ooh,
History check.
Yay, history checks.
It's
I'm
bad.
good at those. Am I good at
That's a
those? I'm
2.
okay at those. Oh.
I got a 4.
15?
Which would be a 5.
I got an 18.
Ooh.
21.
I get a +0.
I have a +2 to history because I'm intelligent.
I have a
Apparently.
+2
What?
as well. If I roll a 16, I got 18.
At the mention of this strange sacrifice, this person did it willingly. Frost Maiden, for the three of you, Tarek, Farrell, and Ramira, that kind of sparks a bit of a memory from when you first arrived in Bryn Shandir and remember seeing those posters and a very particular wording on the wrestling event tournament that you
I
kind of
literally said
brush
this cult stuff when we walked in.
over
Immunity.
that
Yes!
mentioned immunity.
Ah.
Winning
Fair enough.
immunity.
Well, I mean, if these people are doing it willingly, who are we to trample all over their religious whatnotsies?
We are just the kind to free them from these bonds of servitude. This is not something they go about willingly or with any modicum of enthusiasm, Mance.
Well, we could just round everybody up in 10 towns and then maybe travel south to another town.
No, we're not
got
doing
the
this
caravan
again.
brigade again,
Absolutely
Not again.
but bigger.
But
Worked once.
didn't you say that the goblin walked out willingly?
They had been selected. They felt dutiful, I suppose. But surely it was not a choice they would have made under a different circumstance.
But it is their god that they serve that requires this of them?
Then it is a dark god.
But you
Dark
cannot
god,
Just
light
fighting
god.
God.
free people from the chains that they willingly put on?
Some shackles are not seen by those who wear them.
Maybe we could have a talk with this. Did you mention who was in charge?
There is a council, a ruling council. I do not know if it is Bryn Shanda or all of these 10 towns combined that make these orders, nor do I know how many are sent out into the storm.
It's always such a pain in the ass to talk to more than one person.
So our options here are fight a god or speak to a council and try and convince them to change their ways. I don't like either of those options.
Farrell's like, may I recommend a third option?
Please, absolutely.
We were already headed to this wrestling match, correct?
I would like to.
If Mance wills it.
It's a good way for us to gather some information while we are out and about. Reconnaissance.
I could give this immunity to somebody else. I won't need it. I'm not a
It's,
citizen here.
It's a reconnaissance of sort. Soon, you'll be able to blend in with any one of your many forms that you shapeshift into.
Aye.
Uh,
Yes, I can go unseen. The gods might be, well, wary of my presence now. I did appear to them as myself.
I'm sure that was terrifying for them.
You should have seen them cower. Like
So we-
cornered pups.
Oh, I would have paid to see that.
I also would have paid to see that. I recommend, or at least suggest, we do reconnaissance for this evening. And from there, devise a plan.
It's a good move.
I believe that course of action to be wise.
I do apologize to be this person, but I am the assistant in this group after all. Don't we have a couple days before we have to pop off to a
Yes.
god's funeral?
Yes.
3 days, including today.
And how
We
will
already
we
have
get
plans.
there?
That's 2 more. I have a couple of things I can try. I still have a use of a spell that I was given by one of these things Fiend got from Hathawin's tree. I can also try and contact someone in Asgard via the spell Dream. There are a few things I can try.
Just because we leave as well doesn't mean we don't come back. Like, I'm just,
Right. Well, we have to come back because we were going to meet up with Toon's old party as
Correct.
adventuring folks, and then they're going to assist us in finding a way to get that fox bastard.
Oh,
okay.
Fox later for fox.
What did I say about fighting gods?
I feel like we're going
I
to go
feel-
watch one get buried, and so maybe afterwards we could do the burying.
I'm just saying, Tarek, you are not one to say anything about fighting gods.
That's true. That's how Hathawin died. Fell asleep for a long time.
Fell asleep for a long time. She just fell asleep.
And as this
That's
happens,
not a god.
the
There's a
dwarven
difference.
the dwarven bartender comes back out from
Oh, thank
the-
God, coffee.
comes out with a plate with a tray and has coffee for each of you.
Oh, thank God.
And as far as a vegan option, he has this dish
Oh, God.
and he kind of just plumps it down, and it is some diced fingerling potatoes
Oh, my God.
with a sort of smells like a rich sort of dill cream sauce on the side,
Cream.
Huh. Interesting.
and a sliced half
the side.
of lettuce, just a full lettuce squeezed in
Nice.
half.
That's
It's
great.
just kind of like on the side, and a few slices of that glowing fruit that was made to make that drink earlier, just kind of cut up like pear slices on the side. He just comes up to you, goes, I spoke to the chef.
I'm sure.
It's very hard to grow.
No. That's why I said do your
Vegetables,
best. It's okay.
We're just low on our imports this week.
Sure.
It's the best I could do.
She
I
goes,
appreciate it. Thank you.
she's like, I'm not gonna yell at you. And as she takes the tray and puts it down on the counter and hands him a gold piece, thank you, and then picks up her coffee.
Just kind of bows down, just like nods his head and takes the gold. Thank you, dear.
Mm. And she's just gonna sip on her coffee. Tune, I am so sorry.
It's fine. Really.
Okay. As long as you're okay with it.
And I remove the cream sauce side and the glowing fruits because I don't trust those.
The fact that they had any kind of green array at all is actually quite impressive.
I was gonna say, I'm impressed with the lettuce. Just kind
The
of,
Letuche.
kind of just sipping your coffee. You said that we're right by the theater, right?
So you're in the tavern area. That's kind of,
Okay.
imagine like kind of a triangle, like the tavern's up here, theater's there, and the little
Okay.
chill out rooms over here.
Farrell's going to pick up her coffee. I am going to go walk the seating area of the theater for old time's sake, and leaves.
Okay. You just see Farrell kind of get up and start moving out the tavern.
Hathawin, after you finish your breakfast, might you lend me a bit of your strength?
You just see Hathawin just eating like a piece of leaf, like a rabbit, just. Oh, sorry. Strength?
Fiend holds up the doll of the fallen Chewinga.
Oh no. Right. Okay. And just kind of a little bit flustered and just kind of comes out. I think I might need a couple days. to
Take
get
your
my-
time.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disappoint you, friend.
Nothing to worry about.
Still just a bit.
He's just
fuzzy
sleeping.
and we. Yeah. Where are we?
A place that apparently likes to serve your pears. Unbeknownst to us.
At that, I'll proffer the glowing fruit over towards the newly raised Hathawin, who I haven't really met at all yet. Well, just here you are, little one.
And she just looks at you and goes,
Oh, I'm so sorry, Hathawin. This is Toon, our new friend. He is a spirit speaker? Spirit speaker? Spirit
Yes,
speaker!
Yes.
And you are a spirit of the woods.
"Hi."
Hello, little one. A pleasure to meet you.
He's got a deep voice.
Yes, he does.
Nice to meet you, too. What?
Un Kalaki Hala Unupe, spirit speaker of the Karluk tribe.
Oh. Tuna laka pataka patipatu. Nice to meet you.
You are close, little one. Very close.
I'll keep trying. I'm very tired. Apparently I wasn't alive. Or was I?
That can be most draining. Eat up and get your strength back.
You got it, tuna malapa dukupa dekapa. And just
Little
starts
further
eating
off
back.
that time.
Just goes back to eating some lettuce. But as that happens, Farrell left the tavern You're all kind of sipping your coffee, getting ready for the day. If you want to go follow Farrell, welcome to do so. If you want to figure out where you want to do this reconnaissance, go to certain shops, areas, you're welcome to do so. Or we can just fast forward to later in the day to get closer to the event. It's up to you.
Farrell will come back. It's just a matter of, this is something very familiar. This is a setting she's used to, and she hasn't been in a theater for 3 years, actively avoiding.
Yeah,
those.
And as you kind of step out of the tavern and kind of go over there for a minute, you just kind of have your coffee, and you're just kind of looking around. And
She'll probably wander up onto stage for a second and just stand in the middle of the stage, just looking out.
Ramira?
Once Farrell's done, I have a question for Toon.
Sure.
Okay, just want to make sure he's finished. She's gonna just kind of look at Toon. Toon, may I ask you a question?
You may.
Before you said that you had someone you cared about very much, but you knew that eventually that you had to leave.
Yes. You speak of them in the past tense. I still care for them fiercely. But, well, we fall in love with those who make us love ourselves when we're around them. But to truly love someone is not to hang on to them and say, I love you, now make me happy. It is to say that I love you and I want you to be happy. And their happiness was not with me, but I carry them in my heart.
And you still love them?
With every breath in my body, I will always love them. To love and to open oneself up to love is to open oneself up to pain. But that can shape us, make us stronger and better for that. Well, I cannot say that I am glad to carry the pain, but I am glad to have had them while I did.
But how did you know when it was time for you to go?
Well, one cannot live one's life in waiting. And perhaps there is a future for us, somewhere down the line, but I could not simply wait, stagnate, and do nothing with myself, and expect them to come back and love me. Not while I deteriorated and managed nothing great. So I set off. It seemed the right thing to do. And in finding purpose, perhaps they will see some purpose in me.
And did they love you?
They did. Very much. They told me so, but alas, they told me too that they fall in love quickly and out the same way. He just has to collect himself a little bit after that.
She just puts a hand on your forearm. I did not mean to bring up such pain for you.
They are mingled memories, happy and sad. It is, some of the most colorful parts of the tapestry of life, as it were.
She's gonna look kind of back over towards the theater where Farrell went, and then kind of sneak glances at everybody else at the bar. Sometimes I don't know when I should go or when I should stay.
Well, in the end, there is only one who can answer that question for you. And it might be a very quiet voice deep inside yourself, but there will be no wavering in the answer that it gives. That is something that you alone know. But it is a whisper. You might have to wait for all else to go quiet before you can hear it.
She just smiles at you.
I put my hand on her arm holding mine.
You are a good person too.
Ha! Well, I thank you for that.
I think they just like knowingly look at each other for a little while and then are like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. After that conversation, Farrell up on the stage,
Yeah.
sort of looking around with your cup,
Yeah.
looking around that sort of stale air smell that's kind of left in most empty theaters.
Yeah. She loves that smell.
You're just having those flashbacks of your old times with the broken sage and the roar of the crowd, the cheers. And it's just bringing you back into a very familiar frame of mind, one that's almost like you're kind of missing like an old flame almost like it's not something you realized you missed so much until you had it again in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And you're kind of just taking that moment to let that kind of sink in.
Yeah. Just kind of enjoying being there for a second. Kind of looking around. I should get back into this at some point after all this is over. Just kind of talking to herself. Just, I was going to say, I don't think any of the rest of the crew would be up yet. I could be mistaken.
You haven't seen them anywhere.
I was going to say, I know Thayer's not awake.
And you know that from hanging out with them, like,
they're not really
they're performers. They don't get
They're
up.
not early risers. They're especially. No, just kind of taking that moment, sighing and kind of rolling back her shoulders and very, very slowly kind of making her way back off stage, down, walking back to her party. Just a heavy weight on her mind.
Mm-hmm. And so as you reunite with your party,
Yeah, she's like, needed more coffee.
what would you like to do as far as this reconnaissance goes? You do know that, just to reiterate some of the places that you do know about this town, you have a contact that the Ghostwood clan tribe, Esther, their leader, had told you about, a person in town by the name of Sam Kinnison, who owns a bookstore of some sort. He used to be former Cobalt Soul from Wildbound. Had directed you to seek them out if you needed any info.
Be a good shit. Maybe you could, yeah.
And you also heard about the shoddy blacksmith in town that doesn't make very great weapons. And then you had the Northlook Inn as well. But as far as those places, this place is still very new to you. But that's kind of all you have to really go on at this point.
Okay. So, Beryl, when she comes back, gets a fresh cup of coffee. Ramira, I promised you a day on the town.
And she just kind of like wiggles in her seat. Where are we going? What are we going to do? Are we going to do so many things? I want to go and see everything.
Okay. She'll look to the men of the group. Gentlemen, me and Ramira will go do some reconnaissance of our own. I think that would be a little less suspicious with the two of us. As for you, she kind of shrugs. Wherever you'd like to go. However, turning to Toon, you do have that contact. Maybe that might help.
Yes, perhaps. Esther did give me a name, someone to look up while I was here.
If he knows or has information, maybe that will be helpful.
Maybe at that. I do not know the first place to start searching for him, though.
And then she looks to Fiend. I'm sure you could figure it out, right, Fiend?
Of course. I have contacts everywhere.
I know you do. I'm going to steal Ramira for a little bit. I promised her a day out.
Fiend, if you see anything fun, bring it back for me.
Of course, I do have something for you. I recommend using your ability here to look like a different person when you sell it. You're shopping?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll end up there.
Right. So shopping includes selling and gaining more coin for more gifts.
What are you selling, Fiend?
Fiend pulls out the wand from his pocket that can change into a staff. He holds it up and snaps his fingers, and it becomes just fucking gorgeous. Like gems sparkling and whatnot. This spell lasts for 8 hours. It's distort value. It is now appears to be worth double.
Why am I not surprised?
All right. Okay. And she takes it from you.
It should fetch a pretty penny for you to buy what you'd like.
Thank you.
Just don't look like yourself when you're selling it, because after 8 hours, they're going to be looking for who you look like.
Right, we would never. Anyways.
Okay. Thank
to
you.
recap, we will meet back here before. What did we tell the bards? Before 5? Was that about
5
our
o'clock.
time? 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock,
Okay,
yes.
we will be back before 5 o'clock. We'll say.
Sounds like a
We
plan.
didn't get a
4:30?
beach episode, but we did get a convention episode.
We got a call
Baby.
episode.
Yes.
She's like, we'll be back about 4:30.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm sure you
Yes.
gentlemen will be able to figure something out. And she kind of gently takes Ramira by the shoulders and starts pushing her out. We'll be
Oh,
back
you
later.
don't have to push. You have to jog to keep up with her. She's ready.
All right. So as Farrell kind of gently pushing out Ramira out the doors of the tavern, seemingly having their own little reconnaissance, what would the three of you like to do?
Mr. Fiend plops down 3 what looks like whiskey glasses onto the table and motions Tarek over and sits down across from Toon. Opens up his backpack, reaches inside of it, and pulls out this dusty, crusty bottle. But it very aged, and it seems like under that dust and crust, it was a very fine-looking bottle. And he puts it on the table. It has been opened before. He pops the cork, and this wonderful smell of mead fills the surrounding area.
Isn't it a
It
little
is.
early?
It has been a rough day and a half, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 for us. And Toon, I heard your story, not eavesdropping. You just have a boisterous voice when you were speaking with Ramira.
Sonorous,
say.
I'm told.
Yes. I will say, for the 3 of us, we feel such pain only because we have loved before. And he pours the 3 half glasses and slides them to his members. I'm feeling good for once. May this day continue, and the feelings in it belong.
Hear, hear.
I can toast to that.
I'll toast to that.
Cheers. Drinks. It's called Shadowbolt Mead.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Toon is so the Kool-Aid man. I swear to God.
Oh yeah. Somebody talking about me? Now,
You
and
literally
I,
Kool-Aid. That's right.
so I do say this in the best way I possibly can, but the people that I can meet with to find information that with the criminals.
I thought that might be the case.
Doesn't
But-
surprise me.
Criminals do know most things that happen in the streets.
This is very true.
Well, many are seated in a position of privilege and have no problem maintaining that, not having to, well, explore the shadowy and more undecided way of life. Cannot condemn those who break these laws. I mean, we've seen the corruption intrinsic to this settlement already.
Precisely. The criminals are probably better off than the people actually running the settlement.
I consider that. Well, and also Kevin, I had it on my notes and it went away. What was the name given to me by Esther? Do you have that on hand? There was a fella. I'm normally a note taker and I'm good at this. I swear.
No, it's all good. When she whispered that into your head before you left.
Yeah.
Of the guy in Chult.
Chult?
Yeah, it was. He said, if you something. She said, if any abilities of the sight start to manifest, seek out Raylanor Telena in Chult.
Gotcha. So that's not anywhere near here.
No.
The other one was Kennison, correct?
But the Sam Kennison character that she told you about, that could have some possible insight into maybe how to get to Asgard is his place.
Okay. So then Samuel Kennison, that's the name of the gent that we're going to end up looking for.
Good. Kev, I've got a feature of my background called Criminal Contact, if you are familiar with it. I would like to use said feature to find corrupt, underground, seedy criminal types that are used to sending messages and getting word from one place to another in this town to maybe locate Sam Kennison for us.
Okay, so with criminal underground, you're seeking out contacts to try to get information, basically.
Correct.
How would you go about finding out who these people are?
Firstly, I would hit the bar with the bartender sorts and attempt to persuade them to tell me the truth about some of the alley members that may come in and out of this tavern.
Okay. So you kind of hit up the barkeep as he kind of comes back, kind of getting the place prepped up for the first wave of people that are going to start coming in here pretty soon. You saddle them up and kind of put your head down to the bar, kind of, hey, come here a minute. And he's just kind of cleaning a glass and, yes?
I'm looking for somebody who knows everyone in this town. Doesn't necessarily use highbrow tactics. Need I say more?
Highbrow tactics.
If you were to walk by him with a companion on your arm, they may clutch their purse at the sight of them.
He just kind of laughs to himself like, friend, you are in 10 towns of Icewind Dale. Do you know how many thieves, crooks, and ex-murderers come to this town to hide out? You gotta be a little bit more specific than that.
Fantastic. Who can get messages to anyone in this town?
Oh, messages.
Somebody who really knows the ins and outs of who's coming, who's going, where they live, maybe. Addresses. Tax collector.
Well, my memory's getting a little bit foggy. Just wish there was some way to unclog.
I have done that before. It works wonders. I grab the back of his head and slam it on the counter. Did it work? There's like I slide like a gold coin on top of the counter where his head was.
Make an intimidation check.
Usually clears me right up. What do I have as a plus on this?
I'm
It is
so glad that me and Ramiro are already out.
I'm so upset
The
that
staff
I'm
of this
here.
place.
Are we?
14 plus 5, it is a 19.
Unreal.
Are we both right there as well?
Yeah, you guys are still there. Me and Ramiro are out. Like, we're gonna get kicked out. Like,
They're
I
not.
would-
You don't even know this is happening. You're
no,
out.
no, no. I mean, like those
Yeah.
three. Are gonna get
Oh
kicked
yeah.
Tarek is just watching this and just doesn't even
I would
flinch.
stand up. Like, Mance.
Yeah, let him do his thing.
I'm paying him.
But as he kind of just clutches his nose, he's like, "Ugh. Ugh." Right. He's just kind of taking a moment just to get his vision to stop being fuzzy. And he looks at you, he's like, right, I think I do remember some things about that.
Right, yes.
If it's information that you're looking for, and he just kind of looks at the gold coin down there beside him. He's like, well, most people don't even give the tip afterwards. If you're looking to get if you're looking to get a sight on somebody, you're gonna want to go to the other side of town.
Right.
There's a pub. It's not the friendliest place,
We'll fit right in.
but it's where people go where they'd rather not see anybody else. If you get my drift.
Do you have a name of a person in this pub which you have also a name for, correct?
Go seek out the Itchy Violin pub.
Itchy Violin. Okay, yes.
Yeah,
Good
named
name.
after the feeling that hits you once you leave.
That sounds a little gross. Not gonna
Go-
lie.
Go find Daryl.
Daryl.
He's the head bartender there.
Got
He
it.
kind of looks at his nose as like blood's starting to kind of come out a little bit, and he's like,
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over to that table, and on my way over, I'm gonna cast Healing Word and inspect his nose to make sure that it's straight.
Tarek's just gonna look at it and be like, well, is it broken?
And as he kind of casts healing word, you just see this snap kind of go into place, like, not anymore.
Ah,
Thank
you
you.
got off easy.
I slide 2 more gold pieces across the counter and I put my hand on his and I go, I really didn't want to do anything, but you have to prove that you're just as bad as the people you're looking for. You get my drift.
Yeah, it makes sense actually. Yeah.
Right?
I apologize for my friend's actions, but also give him what he wants right away next time, right?
And I pat the man on the shoulder, and I'm gonna head for the door.
And as you put your hand on his shoulder, he just leans down from the pressure of your giant hand. He's like, God. All right. Yep. Have fun.
And that man again was
Dario. Okay. His name's Dario.
Dario. Good, Dario. Well, to the Itchy Violin, gentlemen. I don't even care what you catch going in there. It's a bad name.
Yes.
So
the point.
as you guys are making your way out of the North Look Inn Tavern, I'm gonna do just kind of a fun thing and have y'all roll roll initiative to see who starts their little event first.
Oh, great.
We'll do two on two, so it's not 3 on 2.
Yeah.
So the 3 of you pick 2 that you want to
Roll.
roll.
I've already rolled.
Well, look out for my crisp 8.
Tune and Tarek roll.
All right.
Initiative. So we get our initiative bonus as well. So that is that's a 18.
18,
I got a
Plus
17.
17. What did you get, Ivy?
I got a 15.
Yeah, I got an 8.
So
Yes.
boys first. Let's go.
We're doing boys first. So
Boys first. Mafia,
As you-
let's go. I need those.
I'm just a mammoth about town.
So as you start making your way out the door through the streets, and again, it's probably around 8 in the morning. The day is just kind of getting started. You see a few villagers and residents starting to get up as well, moving about the town. You pass by various shops and different shops, a little bit of a couple of market stands out on the side. Again, it's still pretty brisk. Like you can all just see your breath kind of coming out into smoke as you make your way down because like crisp morning air. But again, it's still gray around. There's no the sort of sunrise that had come up, kind of peeking through the clouds, has now kind of been overtaken once more. So still that kind of dreary winter fall kind of feel to it. But there's no snow kind of falling at the moment, so it's fairly like clear air. But you make your way, you go for like a good maybe 30 minutes or so, 30, 35. You're just kind of making your way over. And you're trying to pinpoint where the itchy violin is. I'm going to have the three of you roll perception checks for me.
17.
10.
7.
So the three of you are kind of going down the road here, and you're trying to find where this pub is, but he just pretty much said on the other side of town, but didn't really give you an exact distance points or exact detailed directions on where to go. So you're just kind of looking around, trying to find where this place is, but you're just not really seeing anything that looks resembling what he had described.
Do you know where you're going, Fiend?
I'm looking for the gross sex bar.
The brothel.
I didn't ask. It actually might be the first floor of that brothel.
That's... Could try that, I guess.
And a violin is like a fiddle.
Yes.
And a fiddle is like a small mandolin.
And yes, you're leading me somewhere. Where are you leading me?
I have no idea.
I suppose we're looking for the crabbish mandible.
All right, roll another set of perception checks.
That's how I got an unnatural 20.
17.
5.
Fiend, are you sure you know where you're going?
Not even a little bit anymore.
Why don't you just let me take the lead? Starts walking.
So as you've kind of like made your way, kind of starting to go directly opposite of the Northlook Inn and Tavern, you kind of find yourself kind of curving over to the left a little bit as you're kind of making your way there, and you're just not going as straight as you kind of thought. You kind of get lost a little bit in the town here, but as Tarek kind of takes the lead and is like, okay, I don't think you know where you're going. Let me just fucking figure this out. One more set of perception checks, please.
19.
14.
Had to happen eventually.
14.
Hey, there we go. So kind of going off the beaten path a little bit, the clear kind of main path, you kind of go up to the side. Again, more shops, a few living quarters, things like that. And you kind of make your way back around to the main road there. And at the very opposite end of town, you're looking around, and you do in fact finally see this very dodgy exterior of a pub. The windows are like boarded up. There's like one that's like kind of visible, but it's cloudy and not clean at all. Has again that same kind of similar wooden stoop that the Northlook Inn had. It's about 1 story tall. There's kind of like 1 floor here, and then you can kind of see that the building has another level to it. But it's all kind of wooden and enclosed. There's no windows up there. And you just see someone, a human who's wrapped up in winter clothing, but it's all kind of like they're kind of opened up, bare-chested, just leaned over the side with a metal cup in their hand that's just kind of poured over, and they're just asleep with drool just like pouring down their jacket and hair all disheveled.
I figured it out. It may have taken us a bit to get here and gave me some time to think. A violin is an instrument, right?
Yes.
Correct.
And an instrument is a euphemism for man gear, so it's the itchy man gear.
Oh. Yes, that would...
That's horrifying.
Ugh. Let's get this over with.
And as you guys make your way and you approach it, you see kind of come into view this sort of, there's no wording that says like Itchy Violin Pub. There's just sort of a half hanging, like wooden etched structure of a violin that's kind of like cracked in two. And it's just kind of like hanging from the little hooks above the main door of the place.
I believe we should lead with our strongest foot forward. Toon?
Very well. So I will approach this bar area and confidently just sort of like open my way up and in to just appraise the interior.
As you kind of open it up, this sort of the light from the outside kind of seeps into this dark, dank, stale, old smelling bar with just cobwebs kind of hanging down from different corners. All colors just look muted and bleak, like someone had just poured a bunch of beer all over the floor and just haven't cleaned it in like 2 years. Just this waft of smell just kind of overtakes you all at once. And with your trunk tune, it is like heightened quite a bit. And as there's just like kind of one singular old man just with a pitcher on a table and no one at the bar, and as the light kind of hits him, he's like, "Yep, but you put that light out, Jesus Christ!"
That light is the sun. It is the morning. I would not put it out, but open your eyes to it. Do you work in this establishment?
Yeah. Sometimes.
Well, you're on the clock now. We have questions and require answers. Mance? Tarek?
This place smells awful.
Yeah, I'm gonna just covertly move my tongue inside my clothing, because I'm sure I smell better than this place. I don't really shower.
Fiend kind of sees Toon doing that and casts prestidigitation on his trunks to make them smell like roses and cinnamon.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Ever since the cigar thing, he's been very conscientious of Toon's level of smell. All right, then. Which one of you is Dariel?
And as you kind of step into the bar, you kind of close the door behind you as the light kind of just snuffed out and it's just dark in here once more. And goes, "Dariel?"
That's the name.
I think you should be coming in sometime soon.
Oh, boy. Soon?
How soon?
Kinda just shows up when he wants.
Tarek, have you heard a plate hit the floor before?
No. Why don't you enlighten me, Fiend?
Sure. Fiend walks up to a table and takes a plate off and just slams it on the floor.
Oh, we're breaking plates now?
Hey, so now that you've heard that, could you make that 10 times louder with thaumaturgy?
Oh, absolutely.
I believe they're a little hungover in this place.
Who's... He just looks
Say the
behind
word.
him to an empty bar. He's like, "Who's they? What?" And as
Tarek's
you
ready.
bring down the plate,
Thaumaturgy, make it louder.
just like this thunderous boom as you smash the plate, as this frail old man is going, "Ah! God, Jesus Christ! What? Oh God!" And it's just overtaken by this noise.
Where can we find Mr. Dariel?
Look, why don't are you here for service?
No, not that I believe we would be eating in a place like... Do you have vegetables?
What?
Then
Never
no,
mind
we
that.
wouldn't be
I don't
eating in a
trust.
place...
We have business here with Dariel. Now, things can get a lot quieter and go a lot easier if you can fetch him for us.
Immediately. Don't like waiting.
No.
Oh,
Might run out of plates pretty quickly.
I didn't even know we had plates. Hey, sometimes it
That's a
comes
mood.
through the back. I could check for you. Maybe it's coming early.
Quick like a bunny.
Okay.
Your shoe.
You know,
Today.
I could turn him into a bunny. Might move him a bit faster.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Or you could just tell us where we could find him, like perhaps where he lives.
Don't rush me, boy. I'll be right there, okay?
I will rush you.
Yeah. Slowly gets up from his table
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
and just shuffles his way over into the bar area. And then as you see him kind of walk behind the bar, his body sort of changes into a very well-looking dude. He's got like this hairstyle that's kind of random. He's got like bangs that kind of swoop down to one side, kind of shaved on either side of his hair, and has this kind of one single braid coming down from the back of his head that kind of comes down all the way past his chest near his hip. And he's adorned in kind of like not blacksmith clothes necessarily, but like hard canvassed clothes that look like he's been like doing some sort of heavy duty construction or something like that, with just like clear, like visible scars and rough patches all over him, and these like big sized sort of hard canvas overalls, and has this sort of thick linen shirt underneath it that's white. He's got multiple piercings all around the bridge of his ear, nose piercing in here, and has a piercing up in his eyebrow as well. And he is a wood elf. And he just takes a big sigh of relief. All right, well, it's clear you're not leaving, so you can smash all the plates you want. I could give you some more at the back of that'll make you fucking happy.
No, it won't. Dario, I presume.
Ta-da!
Great. Fantastic.
Could have started with that.
Well, you know, I like to start my day a bit later than most people. Most people come into a place and they see an old man just drinking by himself and they kind of turn away. But not you.
Well, the way he changed familiar.
Familiar how?
So
Like
I had
changeling
one
familiar?
Yeah. So there's the only two things that I know of that Fiend knows of is the, you know, how he could change his appearance with that level 1 spell, or a changeling. Did it look like
alter
Rhaenyra
self.
changing, or did it look like disguise self or alter self? Gotta consult the old Fu Manchu.
Make a history check.
History
No.
even.
Yes. No. Wait. Insight check. Make an insight check.
They're probably the same. It's a 12.
12. Hard to discern exactly. It happened fairly quickly. As far as, you know, what kind of hand motions or sort of gestures would need to take place for a disguise spell or the innate ability of a changeling, it happened pretty fast.
Okay.
And
Deadass just gonna ask him, are you a changeling?
Fiend. Oh, that works.
a what?
Ah, never mind.
run.
Would I have any idea with my background of what I would have experienced? So just make an insight check, or do you think I wouldn't?
With your experience with changelings?
No, with spells like that. If I'd have any idea what he did.
I don't know, you can make an insight check too if you like.
Sure. Yeah. Woo. Insight +5. Hey, love that. 24. 19 +5.
24. So kind of trying to discern how that change kind of took place. You go over to sort of looking at Fiend, because when the old man kind of got up from his seat and went over, it was just kind of like, all right, let's hurry it up here. And the rest of you kind of were starting to look around the room as he was taking place. But same thing, hard to determine.
Damn. Okay. All right. Okay.
He's quick. He's slick.
Hmm.
Do you know a person named Samuel? Where can I find a person named Samuel Kennison?
Oh, Sammy boy.
The pipes are calling. Yes.
Right. I believe. Oh, Sam. Right. The owner of the and he's just kind of having a little bit of a hard time remembering as his hangover is kind of taking a bit overtaking his brain. He's like, the Coming of Page bookstore, right? Oh, Sammy boy. What do you want with him?
You can see Fiend is reaching his hand across to refresh his memory. Pulls back. Ask a few questions about the what's and then who's of the town. We were told to speak to this person if we wanted more information.
Well, he would be the guy to know. He's a very informative bloke. Except, he's a very funny turtle. I mean, I'm used to them being, kind of big. You know the type when you see them. They're all big and chunky and slow.
Yes, they look like a turtle. I understand that much.
Toon is so confused.
Big shell on its back, Toon. Kind of like a lizard face.
Right.
You've never seen a turtle before?
Not. No.
Confused why they're so far north.
You come to the right place to see lots of various people looking to escape lots of various things. I mean, I'm sure you're all here for a reason, eh? Not many people come through these doors without something to hide or some nefarious plot brewing.
Absolutely nothing to hide.
Couldn't be more reasonable people. Now, how many lefts and rights to get to the turtle shop?
Well, wait. What? Are you new in town? Like, what are you all doing in here? I've never seen your faces before.
Lefts and right, dear. Pay
You
attention.
needn't remember our faces. They're of no import to you.
Oh, not one for chit chat then, eh? That's fine. That's fine. You're gonna head out down this way, and then you're gonna go around the. And he just explains to you kind of where it is. Sort of the general directions of how to get to the Coming of Age bookshop. And he's just going to kind of finish his explanation of where exactly it is. I mean, I'm here. You're here. So you don't want to have a bit of fun?
As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you 1 gold to not show me a bit of fun.
I mean, gold is gold. It's fine with
I
me.
nod to Fiend. And I'm going to reach out and I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder. Does he allow that to happen?
He's just kind of lazily like on top of the bar, top at the moment, and you're gonna reach out and put a hand on him.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of looking at you. He's like, "Hello, you. How you doing today?"
Quite fine. On my own.
And I'm gonna cast Lesser Restoration and cure his hangover.
Oh.
This rush of feeling just makes him sprightly and new. You see the bags under his eyes just become clean. Just the breath that was coming out of him that just smelt of old peanuts and ale is just gone. Doesn't have any kind of like older like BO smell anymore. Just right as rain.
I've spared you some pain. Now, if you let us astray, I will return and pay it tenfold. Have a good day.
And with that, I'm gonna turn to leave and follow his directions.
Okay. See ya. As the three of you kind of start to make your way out of the seedy old pub. And as you're kind of going through that direction and trying to make your way over the coming of age shop, you just kind of notice that when you're passing by some of the local guards in town, because you just see a couple every once in a while, just kind of walking down the streets, just making sure everything's fine. Toon, you especially, kind of keeping a third, like another eye on these dudes as you're always passing them by. You just notice them kind of just taking a little special interest in the three of you as you're walking around. You just kind of hear them not hear them, but you see them kind of.
Guys, we look fucking good.
Heck
Yes.
yeah, we do.
And but yeah, you do notice that Toon, as you just kind of see these guards just kind of every now and again just kind of looking at you guys as you're walking down and kind of whispering some things to each other, feeling a little bit watched.
The boys are rolling out.
But as you kind of make your way through those side streets and you go down a very specific alleyway, you see down kind of a long sort of thin alleyway that's would pass you by otherwise if you try to kind of look for it yourself. And you see a couple of signs kind of protruding out of this thin alleyway where a few shops are. And you do notice a sign kind of hanging there that does say the coming of Paige. And as you go inside, or do you go inside? I'm assuming.
I would, but like the store frontage is in an alleyway. That's very unfortunate. Huh.
Just make that remark, but then also go to smash open the doors. Not smash them, but like open this place up too.
The Kool-Aid Man! You this thing!
Oh yeah!
Tell us what we want!
I'll just go to enter this bookstore.
Okay. And two of you follow suit?
Yep.
Yeah. So going into coming of Paige, and the door frame is pretty nice. Like it's got this like sort of stained glass window to it with these kind of gold lining, these gold lining design that kind of separates it into like three sort of panes here and three panes there. You open up the shop and you see a figure putting books away. It's a fairly small shop. It's not very thin at all. But you see what you were expecting to be kind of this old withered turtle. You see a different shade of turtle. You see this young, vibrant, almost Ninja Turtle looking figure who's got like not the big, huge, clunky shell that you're used to, but kind of like a normal sort of roundish one. The musculature is a more humanoid presence than you're kind of used to. And they're wearing like this very well-kept sort of three-piece suit. This brown three-piece suit with like a nice dress shirt underneath with a tie. But the outer part of the jacket clearly cut out for the shell. to be put on, and kind of turn around, and you see this monocle hanging down from his face. Hey guys, what's going on?
Not what I expected.
He looks like a glyptodon.
A what?
Who?
Glyptodon. You know,
See, now your turn to educate us.
the large shelled mammals. They roam the tundra.
And the big balls on the back of the tails.
Yeah, the very same. I point to Fiend.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. Hello, new friend.
He just looks at you while you're having the conversation. He's like, can I help you? And as that happens, we're going to scene change over to Ramira and Farrell, who are starting their little day on the town. So
Yeah.
what would the two of you like to start to do?
Yeah. Upon leaving the guys, Farrell's gonna look to Ramira and immediately ask, I promised you a day. I apologize it took me a little longer than I thought. What would you like to do?
Well, to be fair, we had a lot on our plate. We literally brought 70 people to a new town.
You are right. What would you
And
like to do?
I died. Everything. I want to do everything. I feel like you can cue montage of them just like booking it around town, running through pigeons, grabbing every coffee shop. Like this is like the early 2000s, like She's the Man styled montage.
Incredible.
Of just like doing everything, but eventually I would like to stop into like a clothing store.
I was about to say a
Awesome.
clothing store. I would also like to. I think Farrell would also like to stop by like maybe like a trinket store or like something of that matter, like looking for something small. But yeah,
Okay.
clothing store I think was top of our list.
You know what I think I should get as well? Maybe they will have a particularly made set of pickup sticks, the game. I don't know if you've played it before, but I got Toon to play a game with me the other day, and I think he will quite like it if I find one maybe a bit bigger.
I can't say that I have ever played. I'm sure it was wonderful and enjoyable. If we have the pastime, I would love to learn.
Yes, it's very easy. It's a children's game, but it's so fun when you're on the road. You can play it with anything almost.
Oh,
Find one.
okay. Yeah, looking around for like a clothing store, like where we've probably gotten coffee or something at this point. Like, okay, now what next?
So yeah, did you want to find the dress shop first, or
You
the?
know
little-
we do, Kevin.
Yeah, you know we gotta update these clothes, baby.
Me and Saf totally weren't DMing about what we were looking for.
So as you're walking about the town, I'll have you two roll perception checks to see if you notice
Yes.
any clothing stores about.
Yes, kind of. Oh, it's a good thing I have an 8 to perception.
That is a crisp 21 for me.
I was about to say that's in the 13 for me.
All right. So yeah, just kind of wandering about the town, going through the different sort of neighborhoods of Bryn Shandir. And again, kind of similar thing, like when you kind of see like a set of guards kind of walking by, you kind of just see them just giving you two kind of an extra and dated look towards your way.
Say Farrell will just kind of smile and they'll move on.
And they just kind of
Yeah,
wave
like,
back at you.
Because Ramira typically walks like while she is threading her fingers through her hair. So if she ever sees someone staring directly at her, she will just like perk up and be like,
Yeah,
and then keep walking.
Farrell's keeping the eye kind of in the back of her mind of, there's individuals watching us. But for the most part, currently on her mind is not any kind of trouble. So she's like, we're just shopping.
Correct.
Like,
We're having a good ass time. If we
Yeah.
gotta break our friends out of jail later today,
we got to get some, break our friends to the jail kind of outfits. But no,
amazing.
that's kind of what we're looking for. It's just like a clothing shop.
I think I found one, Farrell.
Kind
So
of
as you walking down sort of another drag of street, again, just seeing general mulling about, some shops, markets, whatever, you notice at the corner of your eye, you see in a window two sets of clothing, like winter clothing, sort of put out in display of a very high design quality as well. Like these look like really, really nice threads. and you look up at a sign that says the winter's warmth.
Oh. Remember this one?
Yes, I think this will do nicely.
Okay. And Farrell will open the door.
Whee!
I imagine that's the actual sound she makes as well.
Yes, that's 1,000%. She has no shame. No shame.
This is very unusual for Farrell. This is not something she's used to. She's like, okay. And follows.
As she does, she's going to turn around and like walk slightly backwards, even though she has no idea where she is. I'm so excited. Farrell, there's nothing like it. Going out, seeing everything. It's a great time. You could find anything or anyone. Or not find anything or anyone. We don't have to do anything specific, but it's so exciting. And then she kind of holds your hands. I know it's a lie. You'll catch on. And then kind of like darts into the shop.
Okay. And she follows, just like, okay. Follows her in.
Okay. So as you go in, again, you see a ton of winter themed garments. Men's, women's, various jackets, pants, very much in the theme of winter wear, like keeping yourselves very, very warm. Various boots, mittens, jackets, pants, all that type of style. And you can see kind of through, there's the front desk in the shop, and then you see kind of an open archway with a few tables in the back. And you see various different halflings sewing things, sewing different garments, and they're all kind of like a pale skin, various hairstyles, seemingly all some female, some are more androgynous than others, but you notice this halfling woman sort of in the back of the shop, just putting up some new wares up on hooks on this little step ladder that they're up at. And she's got a couple piercings on her earlobe here, very bright green eyes, this very sort of fire red hair that kind of waves down and curls down to her shoulders, wearing this kind of green cloak that kind of has a fur inlining on it, and various kind of green brown outfit with not a corset necessarily, but it's kind of like this fastened vest that kind of looks like a corset, but not. It looks like something that maybe they had made themselves. And then some like steel-toed boots at the bottom with just like big knots into it. And their shirts kind of pulled up to their elbows as they're putting things away.
I love them already.
Go through the door and the bell kind of ding 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 hits as you enter. She's like, hello, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Just coming in to take a peek around.
Oh, yes, go look around. And then just kind of comes down from the step ladder. She's like, what are we in for today? You looking for a full setup gear? You looking for a jacket? Looking for some pants? What are you up to? What can I help you with? Just say the word and I'll help you out with whatever you want. You name it, I got it. You got like pins, you got boots, you got pants, you got jackets, you got fur inlining, we can do custom designs, we can take a lot of things out of the back. Hey Sherry, do we have things going on back there? Yeah, we got a few more things. And it just kind of keeps talking.
I love her.
Okay. I think I have an idea of what I want done, Farrell.
Oh, do you?
I've been thinking about this. Typically, I wear baggier clothing so that I can fit any occasion, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
But I think for now, I would like something a little bit more form-fitting.
Oh, really? Like what?
And she is going to describe basically that she wants to get like a blush pink corset, long sleeve, with like, what is that called? Like ruffles on the top kind of thing. And then like ruching over the top. And then just like some winter pants that are probably in like a cream color or a tan color, and then some hefty duty boots.
I thought Farrell's like, you would look stunning.
Like fur-lined boots, though. I think, pink is my favorite color, and I feel maybe this fits me best.
You would look stunning. Absolutely stunning.
And like as you're describing this outfit of what you want to wear, this halfling woman is already with a tape measure just like
Beryl's
just
gonna
like
kind of step
as you're saying things, you just feel like an arm kind of touch your arm, kind of just put it up, and just already starting to measure you out and everything.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Beryl.
dear. Sorry, there. I can be a little forward sometimes. I just like to rush these things along. Lots of people to see, and just kind of like goes around, just starts like kind of twirling you around as you're just kind of overtaken a bit by this halfling. How about you there? Did you want to get something done as well?
Possibly. She kind of shrugs a little. I'm in need of a new corset. This one's a mess. The boning in it is a wreck.
She at the side of your corset, and you say like, this one's a bit of a wreck. She goes, people don't know how to make corsets. They're fucking despicable. I will make you the best corset you have ever seen in your entire life.
Thank
I make
God.
them myself very, very well. They don't have clunky. They don't crush your ribs or
because
anything like that.
The boning
Very, very.
in this one is a little off, and it just, I don't like it.
I think I got the right thing. What kind of colors did you want?
Blue and silver.
Blue and silver? Fantastic. I'm going to make a better set myself. Pink. No. It takes down like all of the things that you said. Kind of goes down. She's like, outfit for you. Anything else with the corset?
I add a couple of stars and moons on there for me.
You got it. No problem at all. Let me just tally this up here. And then just kind of goes like, kind of steps behind the front desk and starts just writing things on parchment of like how everything's going to come up. Okay, so for a custom outfit with those colors and the stuff, and of course, all right, and looks over to you, Ramirez, like, all right, that's probably going to be like around like 500 gold for all that.
Mm.
Trust me, you are going to love it. It is going to be fantastic.
It's not that I don't trust your expertise and craftsmanship. We've been traveling for quite some time and are a bit low on coin, so I may just have to pass on this round.
Okay. We can make it a little bit of a. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Just go anywhere. And she kind of steps off her step ladder, goes to the back, and just hear a bunch of murmuring of just like 500 gold. Why did you start so strong? I don't know. I just picked a number. I don't know what you want. No, just go slower. Don't worry about it. Just go lower. Okay, you don't want to scare them off. You don't want to. No, but
Beryl's gonna lean over the Ramiro. How much business do you think they actually get?
I don't know, but I'm no fool. Typically, a wage for a month is about 60 gold, so I'm not sure who they're trying to pull the wool over their eyes, but...
It's because we look like tourists at the moment.
Oh,
I know. Come on, you knew how the ladies were in the brothels too.
I know, so unfair.
This is why Jeanette tried stealing my corset that one day.
True. Cheap bastard.
Ugh.
And after a bit of murmuring, comes back out and goes, right, just talked to the other little halflings back there, and we are willing to give a special discount just because of the details that you want. We really, really, really want you to have this outfit, so we're gonna say around just say a number, just like 100 gold.
100 gold.
That's a steep discount. I mean, if we went here, we're way down here.
That is most gracious of you, and I am so inclined. However, I would be eternally grateful if you would accept 70. More than a month's wage, I'd say. Even better up farthest north. I can't imagine you have many people request such a wonderful thing from your establishment.
Right, yeah. Make a persuasion roll.
Oh God, you know I'm good at that.
Do it.
It's a 17.
Oh.
17. So she kind of looks down and he goes, right. So for 70. Yeah, I'm sure we could do it for 70 gold. And just says that out loud. and you just hear a bell kind of go ling, 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 like ring from the back. She's like, yeah, 70 gold. That's the price we're doing today for you and that lovely, that pink outfit. You're going to look very, very nice. And you for...
Yes.
The corset. It is, of course, a very unique design. You know, we make
It is. You're
special.
correct.
If we don't, if we take into account, the shape, size. 50 gold pieces.
I do think that is doable.
But
Yeah.
surely you could do something a bit more since...
if you could just make sure the detailing in it is top notch, I'm sure that I could tip you as well.
Farrell, you're being
Right.
most
No, she's
generous.
Farrell's like, I am. I know.
Yeah, what do you want with the black corset? With the moons? And then-
Yeah. And on top of that, can I get just a plain black corset, just normal boning, just to go? She's like, I'll add on a couple of gold for you. Of course, I would never expect you to give that to me for free. Just something simple. You're the basic of basic.
You want to
I do.
make a persuasion check.
Okay. Thing I've got. Let's see. Oh, that's not bad. That's a natural 20. That's a 19 plus 1.
Hey. So
She's like, I'll tell you what, since my lovely friend here is getting a full outfit for 70, I'll also give you 70.
done. It's all good. Just
Great. Fantastic.
just put your money's.
Yep, she does.
I would be most inclined to pay you half now, half when I get our outfits.
You want to pay half now and half later. Ding, ling, 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 ling. Yeah, of course, we can totally do that. That's
Give
something
them half. Oh,
we do all the time here.
Of course, I'm sure.
Yeah. We'll take some time, probably be ready, like late afternoon.
That's
Early
just
evening.
fine. We'll pick them up around 4 o'clock, looking to Ramir. Like that way they have something to wear to the match tonight.
And what was your name? Kind one?
My name?
Yes.
Your name. We have to know the name of our wonderful seamstress of who's, giving us these stunning
If
outfits. We have
anyone
to
were
know.
to ask us where we got them from, we
Well,
would
of
be sure
course.
to tell them your name.
My name is Cretenda.
Pretenda.
Beautiful.
Insight check. Is that her real name?
Make an insight check.
God damn it, it's a 2. Oh no. It's a 12. Okay, so it's a 12 with my insight. Fuck yeah.
That's better.
12.
That is better. Yeah, it's a 12. Saved by the proficiency.
Hard to tell.
God damn it. Alright.
Farrell's not going to roll an insight check because she really couldn't care less if that's her real name or not. So.
I just want to know who I have to drag through the mud if this goes poorly.
Oh, don't worry. You don't have to worry about it. Farrell will do it for you.
Well, it has been most lovely doing business with you. We'll be back at around 4.
Okay. No problem. It'll be here waiting for you.
Fantastic.
As you guys kind of turn around and leave the shop, just hear the little footsteps kind of go behind the shop. You're like, you guys, I finally made a sale. I couldn't believe it. I just tried to do my best, but everybody and just like very excited that they actually sold something.
Oh, that's very wholesome and good.
Cute. I was going to say, Farrell's going to shrug. I don't think they get many customers.
Yeah, and as you're kind of leaving a couple footsteps more, it's like, it's not my fault. Nobody ever comes in here. Nobody ever leaves the goddamn place. I don't want to go out in the goddamn, and the door shuts.
Accurate.
Incredible.
Accurate.
But after that exchange, we're gonna transition back over
to our lovely guys who are causing
to our boys.
Hey, wow.
At the coming of Paige, with this
Coming of age.
with this slender, very youthful looking turtle, but with a very raspy, youthful voice. As you make that remark about the Glyptodon. Yeah, what can I help you with?
Toon, would you like to speak to this person on behalf of your willing...
Samuel, was it?
Yes, Samuel Kinnison.
Right. We came to know of your being. From one I hold in high esteem. Tell me, what do you know of the plains, Samuel?
The plains? Gotta be more specific. Just a smidge, man.
What do you know of Asgard? Who sent you here? One I hold in high esteem. Now, take that as a mark of confidence that I have for you. But I do not mean to bandy words needlessly. You have information on how one might reach Asgard? Yes?
Yeah. I believe I could delve that information to you. And he just kind of slowly is sidling his way kind of around you towards the front door.
That's not subtle at all.
Mr. Fiend shuts the front door and locks it. Derek, maybe you should
Do
show.
not mistake us. We are no threat to you.
Listen,
I don't.
Sam.
Yeah.
We're not here to cause trouble. We mean no ill will to Asgard. What do you know of Asgard and its people? I already know. I'm asking what you know.
Simple. You really can't tell me who sent you here, huh?
Oh, for goodness sake.
Just gonna summon the hammer.
Does this mean anything to you?
Mjolnir appears in your hand. And as that happens, his face becomes still. Looking up at all of you, seeing that relic. Waves a hand. The windows in the shop, in the small shop, goes metal slats slam down. The door behind you slams down with an iron rot. And he takes a step back. And this sort of ethereal mist takes up his form as his body starts to transform and become large in size. Almost as big as Toon's. His body hunched over, beak sharp and thick, shell on the back becoming spiked and large. That smooth skin, that suit starts to break away as this big, huge, old, frail turtle appears in front of you, holding this twisted oak staff with a shining crystal inside of it that looks similar to those purplish crystals you had found underneath the caves of Wagon's community, and holding onto a staff. Now that is something I have not seen in a long time. And that's where we're going to end the session.
I knew it.
Ew, but I'm not sad.
It is that time, ladies, gentlemen. Unfortunately, that is a wrap on episode 14 of Beyond the Realms. Not gonna lie, that was like top 3 probably in my books of my favorite sessions. That was
an
amazing.
episode.
That was great. Thank you all so much for watching tonight's live stream. We appreciate you all so much for any support you give the show. Thank you to these amazing fucking players who are so good at what they do. It drives me insane.
Aww.
And to our equally talented DM who weaves all of these stories together.
Absolutely.
That we would be nothing without.
True.
Yes, and the amazing Jody Rose, co-creator of the channel, who makes everything we do possible. Thank you guys all so much. Hope you enjoyed that session. I fucking sure as hell did. And we will see you all next week, next Monday, for another edition of Beyond the Realm. Stay safe, everyone. See you then.
Bye.
Oh,
Happy birthday, Ivy!
God damn it.
Happy birthday!
yes,
No.
it is Ivy's birthday.
Not overtell us. Not overtell us.
Tonight.
No, I will leave.
It is Ivy's birthday at midnight, so we won't sing happy birthday, but just say a very happy birthday
Happy
to
birthday.
the one and
Ivy.
only Ivy, Game Reader Girl. Thank you all so much. If you want to blast her with inundated happy birthday messages, you can join the Dicecream Discord right now and just send those messages left, right, and center, as we like to hang out in there and share memes and whatnot. So
I've already been added once. I see it.
there you go. So thanks a lot, everybody. See you next week, next Monday, same time, same channel. Bye-bye. Peace.
Have a wonderful time.
Have a wonderful